live. This is Jason with Awake Souls, and we are live on the Limitless Channel. Here is the Limitless One.
Hey everybody, it's Ronnie Harris. This is the Limitless Channel. Thank you guys for being here tonight. This is going to be quite a controversial podcast. It has to be done. Right, Jason?
It does. We've got a history with this character, Rob Skiba, and we have to share it because we've been doing this for years. We know a lot about this guy. We know what he's about. We know what he's done. And he's being used again one way or the other. Because all you have to do is a search for Rob Skiba's name right now. Just do a Google search for it, and you're just going to see headline after headline about anti-something flat earther preacher dies of you know what. All right, so we have that stigma being attached to flat earth. We have it being attached to Christianity and people that don't want to take a certain thing. So we've got to deal with this, and we're going to do it the best way we can. We're going to show all the things that we've been showing all along. So we're just going to bring this all back up to recollection for everybody. And sure, supposedly a person has passed away, and if that is the case, then there is absolute remorse for such a thing taking place. But due to the nature of this character, it's important for us to check and see whether or not that's even true or not, because he's done a lot of stuff that is not true, and we're going to be going through that.
Yeah, and I want to start off tonight by reading a couple of scriptures here. It's something very important, and I do believe we need there's a message in Zoom for Jason if he's paying attention.
Okay.
The scriptures I want to refer to are found within Ezekiel 33. It says, "Son of man, I've made you a watchman for the people of Israel. So hear the word I speak and give them warning from me. When I say to the wicked, you wicked person, you will surely die, and you do not speak out to dissuade them from their ways. That wicked person will die, and their sin I will hold accountable for you. On your head, the blood will be held accountable. But if you do warn the wicked person to turn from their ways, and they do not do so, they will die in their sin, though you yourself will be saved." So what we're doing tonight is only out of the very fact that we need to stand up for the truth. This isn't something new with Rob Skiba. Many of you on the other side of the screen might not know that Rob is a practicing Freemason secret society member. He's been in the flat earth movement the entire time, and we've been there calling him out for his wicked ways, following Ezekiel 33 the entire time. The whole entire time. We're going to be blowing your absolute minds tonight with the absolute psyop, mind control, everything that they've tried to do. The entire time Rob Skiba has been on YouTube has been absolute nonsense, and misinformation. Listen, when the flat earth movement was starting to come out, people were starting to film things, drones were being made. People were starting to realize that the reality wasn't quite the way that they thought it was. So what they did was they set out people in leads and people with verified YouTube check marks. I want you to remember that I spoke that. They pick these people and then they promote disinformation. And what they did was they used Rob Skiba, who was always a fence sitter. But he was put in and he tried to tie the AE equidistant azimuthal flying Freemason pancake New World Order UN model map in flying in outer space to the Bible, to the scriptures. And Jason and I were there every single step of the way to say, no, you don't. And we're going to continue to do that. Everybody needs to understand that that was what they were trying to do. They tried, but they failed. We totally destroyed. Rob had to quit. Rob's been gone for a long time because he couldn't handle the lies and the misinformation and the disinformation. And he's been working on seed. Okay. And what I want to start off by saying is that if I don't come out here and warn other people, because now he's being heralded, parable of the fig tree, called him Moses. And this man, Rob Skiba, that I speak to you, I have heard him with my own weird ears, and so has Jason, blaspheming King David, saying he should have paid more for what he had done with Bathsheba. I've heard this man blaspheme so many times that you guys have no idea on the other side of the screen. And his Judaizing ways have led people off to the path of destruction. I've seen it over and over again. So I have to come out here, and if he really did die, right? If somehow he went to a hospital and they killed him, whatever, I feel sorry and remorse for his family. I beg, I beg with all of my spirit, with every breath that I speak, that he repented of his ways. Because the evidence that we're going to show you tonight, it's a lot. It's a lot of wickedness, right? And I don't want to have to be the character that has to come out here and tell you this, but I'm commanded to stand up and call things out so that other people don't follow the doctrines of demons. Literally, Rob Skiba has founded his ministry on the study of demons. But this isn't what you find the fruit of the holy breath of the living Father coming through. It doesn't concern itself with what the fallen angels did. Sure, you study these things and you understand why it happened. You don't make books and movies and TV shows glorifying fallen angels. It's blasphemy. The entire thing, including changing the encampment of the tabernacle, which was one of the only things that Moses was told, don't you ever mess with. It was a representation of the heavens, of the priestly kinghood that was designed in heaven. And it certainly wasn't a circus tent that was, 60 meters tall in the sky. We're talking about thousands and thousands of years ago. The entire thing that Rob and his team, and not only that, Rob Skiba is the founding top radio host on the most satanic Freemasonic network online, Truth Frequency Radio, if you don't know. So these are just some of the reasons that you are not going to hear this from anywhere else. Everywhere else you go, people are going to praise this man. They're worshiping this man like an idol right now. He's being heralded. Adam, the fig tree parable likened him unto Moses. And to me, that's absolute blasphemy, because Moses was a righteous man. Sure, he did make mistakes. He killed a man. He killed many men. He was a soldier and a warrior. But I will guarantee you right now, he did exactly what Yahweh hath instructed him. He did not walk off and preach about Nephilim and write books and all of these different satanic doctrines that have been promoted over the last 8 years. Me and Jason have been there. I'm not even scratching the surface. The Chicago skyline evidence was faked. Friend of Yahweh is an absolute joke. Another disinformation, all they did is mock the flat earth. They made a documentary that just mocked it. This entire team has been nothing but a black stain on the truth movement for the entire time. And we have to come out here and talk about it, because what am I supposed to do if all these people are going to start worshiping all the words of Rob Skiba, and they don't understand that the words that Rob Skiba was an agenda from a secret society Freemasonic group. And guess what? When you're in a secret society, you swear a blood oath against the Father to lie. And you guys wonder why I get upset and worked out, because these people are the reason that we've been under so much wicked rule. This entire 6,000 years is because of lies and because of secret societies and blood pacts. It's got to end. It's going to end. I'm going to just mute because I'm getting really worked up, because if he did die, I swear on my living breath, the breath coming from the living Father, that he repented. And the only saving grace that I have, that I will say for Rob before I mute, is that I know he did love a lot of people online. I seen him. He did bring people to truth, albeit the truth that he was saying was and misinformation that leads you off to the path of destruction. Judaizing is one of the worst things. It's a plague upon the truth. Judaizing, to take people back under the covenants, is to put a curse back upon people's heads. And Rob Skiba did over the time. I've seen him, and we're going to show evidence of it. People that went on Rob Skiba's show were influenced and inspired by him, that now came out and said the entire Bible is fake. He said this guy's promoting himself as the Antichrist. This is the people that Rob Skiba convened with. And you got Adam Parable of the Vineyard calling him Moses. That's blasphemy.
It is bad. And we're going to go through the evidence that we've acquired over the years, many, many years. And we're going to see connections between Rob Skiba and Rick Hummer. These guys go hand in hand. They've run many PSYOPs together. They were together at their very last little meetup. And who knows? Maybe we'll see Rick Hummer pass away unexpectedly from some sort of illness, like Rob did, because they do the same stuff. They're at the same level, like 32, 33 degree Freemasons, whatever they are. They're at the top, and we're going to be showing all the connections to all this, the psyops that they've done, the disinformation that Rob has introduced into the fake flat Earth. That's the Freemason New World Order AE map and model. Rob is extremely influential, and a lot of the disinformation that's being spread within the fake flat Earth community was perpetrated by Rob Skiba. So there's stuff relating to the explanation for why we don't see a shrinking sun. The only evidence that fake flat earthers ever turn to is something that Rob Skiba produced. Now this was a TV episode, and we're going to be going through his IMDb. We're going to be going through his channel, and we're going to be going through clips that we've recorded and saved. So this is all documented stuff. We're not pulling this stuff out of nowhere, making false accusations. We are making sure that people are aware that there has been a wolf in sheep's clothing. Rob really disgusted me the most out of the fake flat earthers, because we had guys like Jeranism and Bob. These guys did not even claim to be Christians in the least. Like, they were just straight as satanic as they could be. And but then there was the Christian aspect to it. Now, not only was there the Christian aspect to it, there was the person that made all the connections from the Christian stuff to the fake flat earth, and that was Rob Skiba. So he's the one that's behind the fake Hebrew terrarium. We'll be going through his terrarium. He's behind the circus tent of tabernacles. He's behind some fake footage, some fake evidence within flat earth. And all in all, he's been a terrible person. Like, the world has less disinformation in it now, if he is actually gone. So we'll is there anything else you want to go through before we get into that information?
So again, when I heard that, Skiba had, come down with the orange juice, right? Or what people need the orange juice for. The first thing I thought was death faker hoax. So what people don't understand also is people that are in these elite groups, these Freemasons, the secret society members, the Jesuits, we could go on and on and on. They fake their deaths. They go to bunkers. They move to like West Bank and take over settlements there. You never see them again. They're gone. It happens all the time. And they're killed too, right? There's multiple things that could be agenda, but why is it that there's only one person that I personally know that has died from the cerveza? Only one person. So when I do my reality analyzing, I need multiple pieces of evidence to concur and confirm what I'm looking at as truth. I do deductive reasoning. When something is only one of, there's instantly a huge red flag. Same with the 24-hour sun. There's only one video or the odd CGI created nonsense that proves supposedly that the sun never sets. When the scriptures say the sun rises and the sun sets, it decreases not. All the time. It's always rising and setting somewhere on the earth at every moment. It's never up in the sky like this. We're going to get into that too, for all you flat earthers that happen to be tuned in or hearing this in the future. So again, I ask you on the other side of the screen, would it be an interesting coincidence that the only character who's the leader of the so-called Christian flat earth movement, a so-called preacher, was at a conference, and I don't know how many of people that were at the conference have died. I've heard the number might be 3. This is the way that they do these things. They happen to be the ones, and it's being blasted all over the place that Christian flat earth preacher dies, anti whatever, didn't orange juice, right? I submit that maybe he did orange juice, because when I look at the data and the evidence, you see that so far along, boom, they're giving out orange juice. People are not taking the orange juice. Well, we can see the evidence is everywhere of bad things happening when you take the orange juice. I do the deductive reasoning that he took the orange juice. Sorry, I just do. I think that mandated to travel. Rob's a guy that's traveling a lot.
Well, we can go into all avenues of speculation. So there's the taking the orange juice to travel theory. There is the got sick, went into a hospital, and then was basically euthanized through the type of care that he received. And then there's also the possibility that he's a death faker. So we really have to look at all the options and weigh them individually, each person, and come to our own conclusions.
Yes. So again, I want to let everybody know that in my heart, I forgive Rob. I do. I forgive him. I love him. I want to see him here when the kingdom's fully here, right? I seen him here a little bit. I want to see him here fully. And then he can answer to the accusations of the evidence that we bring forth as to why he was leading people off on the path of destruction. Judaizing, right? Well, when I say Judaizing, I want to be special. I want to be super clear here. Judaizer is someone that tells you that there's another path to salvation, right? They teach a different gospel than that of Yahawashi, the Christ, right? They tell you that if you keep the commandments, you will be saved. You can do it. You can keep them. But although you can't. But what you can do, you can live your life and you can do those commandments to please the Father. If that is in your heart, if that's what you want to do, I fully am aware that people can do that. But what you see and what you're going to see tonight, I have evidence of it tonight. You're going to see that when you follow into the Judaism, the fruit of Judaism is the denial of the scriptures, right? Gnosticism, atheism. You just give up on what you believe, because then you start getting all these down these paths where they start leading you here, leading you there. If you don't do this and do this, and then you start, and next thing you know, you're so confused because it's just one big ball of mess right now. That's why the most important thing is that you understand that salvation was made and bought for you through the redemption of Adam. Through one man, all man fell, and through one man, all man were redeemed. That doesn't mean you're just instantly in. You have to call upon his name, which was Yahawashi, which means he exists, salvation, right? He died, he redeemed us all. If you call upon his name, if Rob did that, and I know Rob heard us say Yahawashi, and he heard us teach about the Yahawashi through salvation and the bread and wine, victory meal. If he did any of those things, I have no doubt that he'll be brought into the 1,000 years. I just don't know at what level or what rank people get. Now, there's also a level and rank for what goes on below our feet. And this is why we are here at the utmost of importance, because the flames of hell is something that I don't want anyone to go through. No one.
Well,
that's, if you follow...
Well, I was just going to say that that's something that Adam Fink brought up in his coverage. He was talking about where is Rob going? What's happening to him right now? And the interesting thing was that Adam wouldn't talk about what happened to the wicked. He would only talk about what happens to the righteous. He skipped it. So we'll make sure that everybody understands what happens to both the wicked and the righteous. We'll cover that.
And again, the only reason why I bring up the word Judaizer, right, as opposed to someone who is a Torah observant, because what you find is Judaizers hide under the guise of Torah observant. These aren't the people where you go to their house and you pray with them and you blow the shofar and you read the scriptures together and study and laugh and talk about truth. That's absolutely the most beautiful thing I could ever hear, right? But then you have people that mingle in there and they try to lead you down the path of destruction because they follow wicked, vain imaginations in their heart. They don't follow what the word says. We'll be getting into that. I think maybe, I don't know if who wants to screen share first. Again, my heart goes out to anybody that's affected, that's a righteous person, that's a follower of Rob Skiba, his family, anybody that might be suffering right now. I send all my love. I send all my breath. And I just hope that you understand that this isn't a personal attack against Rob. I don't know if Rob was just reading scripts. We don't know at what level happens when you get into these secret societies. I don't know. I've never been. I never understood until I was a truther. I didn't even know what a Freemason was. I had no idea until I became a truther. And guys like Russian Vids, who's a shill, but he taught us what they were. And then you can go and read the doctrines. And I even have evidence in this hangout prepared where you can see that this man was a Freemason. He calls the conference that he had was held in a lodge, right? This is where Freemasons congregate. The evidence is just abundant. And again, anyone that's a Freemason, anyone that swore a death oath, anyone that's taken the orange juice, I know there's, I don't want to call it a cheat code. You call upon the name of Yahawashi for salvation. In the scriptures, it says you must be saved, right? At what level you get in and what you get, your rewards will be based on the things that you did. Because it says Yahawashi comes quick and he will judge every man on his deeds. Every man, I will be judged on every word and every deed. And so will Rob, and
Me
so
too.
will his family, and so will every other Freemason. And if you swore a death oath, a blood death oath, and you're not begging the one true name, Yahawashi, the Paleo Hebrew, Yahawashi, I don't know if you're damned. And the most important thing I can do is share that with people. Just, it doesn't matter if you know someone who's had the orange juice, just tell them the name of Yahawashi salvation. Just like beg for that. So once those words are spoken, just like creation was spoken, you are then sealed. You are sealed, and that's the most important message. If anything I said tonight, that is the most important thing that I'm going to say tonight. And I just want everyone to just separate yourself from all that's going on right now, all the different things, all of your emotion. I want you to become the third person. I want you to pull out of your ego. I know you might be triggered by the things that Jason and I are saying and the information we're going to be presenting tonight, but I want you to look at it from a third person's perspective and truly analyze the information that we're going to show you, because this is something that we've worked on for over 8 years. This isn't just a joke that Jason and I are here right now. We don't want to talk about people that have died, but when it comes to the truth, right, that is the one thing that I will die for. You could cut my head off right now, shoot me in the head, whatever you want. You can gouge my eyes out, cut off my toes. I will fight for the truth. I will fight for every single person that hears my voice. I will fight to the death for them. I will die for them, including Rob himself. And I'll take that with me for eternity. And I want everyone to know that I'm not an evil man. I don't have any hate towards any of the people who are even Judaizers. I don't hate any of the tiny hat people. I love them all. Everyone is my brother and sister in this realm. I treat them all with the same respect, but every man has to be weighed. And if we don't call out wicked paths and destruction, what good is a watchman who doesn't warn the people? What good is it? What good is a big brother that doesn't stop his younger brother from running out onto the highway? That's not a good brother. See, the problem with our reality is Satan has eased his way in the Satans, and they've taken away discipline. They've taken away honor. They've taken away truth. Men aren't respectful. Women do what they do. Everything has just turned into blasphemy here. If anyone hasn't, it's just the same as the days of Noah. It's the same thing. The juice and everything comes from that same team, and we're going to provide the evidence. And like I said, just separate yourself from your bias or your attachment to Rob in any way and just look at the information, and that's all I can ask. And if you do that and you do it honestly and you have contradicting evidence that I present or Jason presents, put it in the comment section below and I will come on here and make a correction right away, and I will cite you and I will stand with you in the kingdom of heaven because you lifted me up. And that's the last thing I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, I just want to say, Peter, was it Stuzzland? Do yourself a favor and start your own research. Go outside to study the moon at first. The moon jumps once a month from south to north and north to south, only possible on the Enoch square Earth. So we are the square Earth guys, and we do watch the patterns of the movements of all the luminaries. And what you described there wasn't accurate, but having four corners, either square or rectangle, that is accurate. So we appreciate you being with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and he's bringing up the real dome or firmament is a gigantic molten metal looking glass sphere.
Oh no,
so
that's not
all
true
of that
either.
is absolute nonsense. Rakia is the vault of the heavens, the sky above
Vast
us.
expanse, vast expanse.
The place where the birds, sun, moon, and stars traverse. It's not molten. It's not solid. It's likened unto clear crystal. It's reflective for the light around it. Yes, this reality that you're in is not a materialistic realm. This is a supernatural place that was created by the living creator of spirits, Yahweh, the Most High. If anyone wants to come in and challenge me on this, I will present the evidence to show you that your reality is absolutely not materialistic. Atoms, all of that stuff is nonsense. There is no dome in the sky. That is an absolute Freemasonic transliteration psyop. The word was Rakia. It meant the vault of the heavens, the sky, the vast expanse. There is a Rakia above the glory of Yahweh. You tell me he walks around with a dome when he's a light being? No. The sky that's above us is made of crystal-like light. It shimmers and glimmers. Anyone that's righteous, you're going to see, because all of the walls and streets are going to be paved with it. It's light. It's not like a solid crystal dome molten thing. This is part of the reason why we have to refute Rob, because people like Peter have heard his agenda and his things. The reason why he changed the the camp and intentment of the tabernacle was because he wanted to support that there was a dome above us, because Freemasons swear oaths to lie. You better screen share. I got to stop ranting.
You want me to screen share or you want to screen share?
I can start. You just tell me when you have the thumbnail
go,
on. And
go ahead and get ready and go.
tell me when the thumbnail. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah, so
what needs to be moved?
Alright, so we have the thumbnail up. Let me get,
Okay, and we can continue to get 5x5s in the chat. How's the sound? Is it too loud now? Is it too quiet? We're going to continue to go here. So, and you can let me know when I'm presented.
I am going to present you now. Oh no, this is me. And here is you. No. Do we have that right? I think we've got it.
Yeah, you should see it presented on your main projecting screen on the OBS monitor. Should be my screen on the monitor.
Yeah, it first presented me, but now I think it's got you.
Got it?
Yeah.
So what I want to point out here in the beginning is I want you to see what's directly behind Mr. Skiba's head. Right? I'm not worried about what he's saying. Okay? This guy, he's not a Christian. I think he's a Torah keeper, right? But he talks about Yeshua, uses the Yiddish names. But he's got like skulls, like Skull and Bone Society, Nephilim skulls behind his head. When I called him out years ago, he did take them down. But I'm starting off here by showing you guys whoever I follow, the spirit, the breath of the living Father doesn't flow through men that parade around with skulls in their shot. Remember, everything you see Jason and I have when we present ourselves on screen is all calculated. We designed our sets. We put each thing there specifically for a reason. Why does Rob have Nephilim skulls behind him if he's a so-called scripturalist, a man of Yahweh, right? We're going to go on here and we're going to read. This is Hebrews 8. It says, now, the main point of what we are saying is this. We do not have such a high priest who sat down at the right. We do have such a priest who sat down at the right hand of the throne of majesty in heaven, and who serves in the sanctuary, in the tabernacle set up by Yahweh, not by a mere human being, right? We're talking about the heavenly tabernacle right now. Every high priest is appointed to offer both gifts and sacrifices. So it was necessary for this one also to have something to offer. If we are here on earth, he would be if he were here on earth, he would be a priest. For there is already a priest who offers gifts prescribed by the law. They serve at a sanctuary that is a copy and shadow of what is in heaven. This is why Moses was warned when he was about to build the tabernacle, see to it that you make everything according to the pattern shown to you on the mountain. But in fact, the ministry of Yahawashi has received is a yeah.
Let's do a screen share again. It doesn't seem to be staying up to date.
What? Let's try again. I'm just bumbling this too. I don't know why. I gotta relax. I'm just so worked up tonight because the truth is the most important thing to me. Is it better now?
Turn this off, turn it on.
I can keep reading while you do that. If he were here on earth, he would not be a priest, for there are already priests who offer gifts prescribed by the law. They serve at a sanctuary that is a copy and a shadow of what is in heaven. And this is why Moses was warned when he was about to build the tabernacle. See to it that you make everything according to the pattern shown to you on the mountain. But in fact, the ministry of Yahawashi has received is a superior to theirs, as a covenant of which he is the mediator. And it is superior to the old one, since the new covenant is established on better promises. So this right here from Hebrews 8, we're learning that Moses was great. Moses was an amazing man. Moses built the tabernacle. He set it up and built it. But then Yahawashi came and he had a greater ministry than Moses, a better one. It said, for if there had been nothing wrong with the first covenant, no place would have been sought after for or another. But Yahweh found fault with the people and said, The days are coming, declares Yahweh, when I will make a new covenant with the people of Israel and with the people of Judah. It will not be a covenant like I made with their ancestors when I took them by the hand and led them out of Egypt, because they did not remain faithful to my covenant, and I turned away from them. This is the covenant I will establish with the people of Israel. After that time, declares Yahweh, I will put my laws in their minds, and I will write them on their hearts, and I will be their Elohim, and they will be my people. No longer will they teach their neighbor or say to one another, know Yahweh, because they will all know me, from the least to the greatest. For I will forgive their wickedness, and I will remember their sins no more. By calling this covenant new, he has made the first one obsolete. And what is obsolete and outdated will soon disappear. So the key points that I want to make here is that we are under the new covenant, right? We're in the third dispensation time actually now. All the truth is being revealed. The books are being unsealed. Truth is being opened. The main point here, anytime anyone talks about the tabernacle, it specifically states, this is in certain transliterations, this is capitalized. The part where it says, this is why Moses was warned. He was told, don't build anything like unto this. See that you make it perfectly according to the pattern shown to you, because it mimics the sky and the heavens, right? This is one of the most important things. And this is why when Rob came out with this stuff like 5-6 years ago, I was all over it in his comment sections, and he was super ignorant to me. What?
So I just want to talk to you. So far, all we've been seeing this whole time is Now You See TV, and we are not seeing what you have been screen sharing. Why is that not refreshing? Because that is not one of my screens. I can't hear you. But it's just saying Now You See TV, and that is not changing. Let me try. I can't hear you anymore. Oh.
Yeah, I've got on the screen the tabernacle, and then the dome tabernacle that they tried to cheat and create through, blasphemy. Right?
All right. So yeah, now this other scene is presenting it. It was stuck on the large one. So now we've got it on a smaller one. Yeah, it's good now.
So here we have Rob and the gentleman who's come in. So when I came to Rob in all meekness, humble, I came to him and said, Rob, I put that scripture in and a couple of other scriptures. And I said, Rob, what are you doing? I'm like, whoa, red flag. Why would you ever? The dimensions in the scriptures have been completely figured out. They know exactly there had to be four corners, and it had to be aligned north, east, south, and west. This encampment right here is it's a joke. It's a circus tent. He wants you to believe that there's a solid physical dome in the sky because Rob is promoting Gnosticism, Freemasonic dogma. They don't want you to know the truth. So he brought this guy, and let's listen to it for a second.
Combined with your engineering experience and understanding of the tabernacle, boy, that's going to be for some interesting campfire discussions if you end up going to this. Because Take on the World.
Now, this is the conference that a bunch of people died that attended, right? Wow.
Well, Take on the World. Amazing. I think this is what they say he came home sick from.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I guess this wasn't too long ago. This was April 14th, 2021. He was discussing this. And remember, you guys, I warned Rob like 5 or 6 years ago about this, like 2017 at least, that what they were doing was blasphemy. It clearly states in the scriptures not to do this. Don't change anything about the heavenly patterns. And the alignments were northeast, south, and west. It was a rectangle, right? But anyways, let's keep going.
Several days, but it's like a lodge camp.
It's a lodge, huh? Let's hear that again. I'm saying to you guys that the type of verbiage that Freemasons speak under, they meet in lodges. And Rob has always been going to these types of lodges.
It's typically, several days, but it's like a lodge campground kind of setting. So lots of opportunity for great teaching, but also after discussions around the campfire. Kind of like Sukkot.
Interesting, right? Mm-hmm. Interesting. We are on the almost the eve of Sukkot. We're not too far away from that. So there's one more clip here I want to play.
Is the
Well, yeah, I mean, because you kind of you wonder where that figure of speech comes from, and that was one of the first things that popped into my head when I became convinced that your model was legit. I went through your website, and there's lots of stuff that intrigued me, but the main thing was don't add to and don't subtract from.
Okay. Did everyone hear the words that just came out of Rob's mouth? Jason, were you paying attention?
Do not
I know I don't
add
like
or
calling
do not subtract from.
anything. That is exactly what Moses was commanded, as well as repeated in Hebrews 8. I just read it to you. So let me tell you the way that Satan's work. They come to you and they say, no, that's not what that says. It says this, right? You shall surely not die. You will become an Elohim like them. That's what he had said. Moses was instructed to build the tabernacle and the encampment exactly like it is right here. Theologians and people have recreated this for thousands and thousands of years. Now, the scriptures did say that men would come and they would follow their own vain imaginations, and they would teach doctrines of serpents and devils, and to be aware of them, to call them out and warn the other true Christians, people that love Yahawashi, the Father. We don't even need to call you a Christian. If you love the Father and you love the truth, you're one of us. And we need to tell you that this is blasphemy. And I'm not stating that that's why something might have happened to them, because I need actual evidence. If one person says this, I need to see it for myself. Again, the main points here, what they do is this guy knows that all someone has to do is do the research, and they'll find that it specifically states, do not add or take anything away. So what they do is they say, that's my proof. My proof that it's a dome is because it says here, don't add or take away. Right? Do you see the witchcraft? It's not that difficult to understand. I'll play it again. Listen again.
Yeah.
This whole, in the phraseology, the apple of his eye, the apple of God's eye. Is
them talking about this thing also being an apple of Yahweh's eye, or they're saying God real. They're shouting out a fallen angel again. Their obsession with the fallen angels was a shining bright eye looking up into the sky. They somehow think that that's somehow paying homage to the Father. Who is the character that runs around with the one eye, right? Think about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you wonder where that figure of speech comes from, and that was one of the first things that popped into my head when I became convinced that your model was legit. I went through your website, and there's lots of stuff that intrigued me, but the main thing was don't add to and don't subtract from. And I had been to Israel in 2005. I remember seeing tabernacle models, and I think it was 2015, probably just prior to you and I connecting. I went out to some kind of tabernacle experience type thing out in the desert of California. With a group out there, and it was remembering the things that I experienced in 2005 and in 2015, and looking at your model and looking at your drawings and looking at your claims, and you had a whole section on don't add to and don't subtract, and I was like, well, that pretty much sealed the deal for me. But then when I looked at the model,
don't add or subtract.
It was, I mean, just logistically, so many things that now whenever we do tour portions that have anything to do with the tabernacle, priests sleeping there or eating there, or all kinds of things happening. When I think about the number of people and the number of animals, and I look at the size of the box version, logistically, that's a nightmare. I can't even see how it would even be remotely possible.
Absolute lie, right? The animals and everything was outside, right? The high priest went inside here. That's it. One person. You want to quote me on that? Someone wanted, was there two priests, Aaron and his son, or was it Yahweh? Was it Moses and Aaron that went in? Like, for him to suppose that it had to be this big, it's an absolute lie.
Possible. When I see a six-story high dome.
And you guys, I want you to understand that they had to erect this and take it down and travel throughout Israel. And they had to do it in sometimes fast fashions. Okay, where did they get cranes? Where did they get all this stuff to set this thing up? It's asinine. It's absolute blasphemy. I told Rob right from the start. I showed him the scriptures. You can go and read Moses and the creation of this. It doesn't take rocket or engineering. This guy claims to be an engineer They're Freemasons trying to psyop you. Go and meet at their lodge. Great opportunities there, right? You guys all heard him say that. So now here we move on to my Judaizing moment. I'm going to ring the bell because I want everyone to pay close attention. This gentleman right here, Justin Best, who took the Christian Truther channel from another military guy. Remember, all these people here are all ex-military, quote, ex, unquote, right? This guy here, he finally got his big opportunity on April 1st, 2020. He was brought on Truth Frequency Radio, right? The main satanic network right here, right? He gets brought on. Listen to what he says. And at the time, this guy was a Torah observant keeper. Remember, I told you guys what Satans do is they mingle into Torah observant because they know that the people that were Christians that feel like they were not quite living up to the truth, the way to fool them is to tell them that, well, if you live under these laws, right, then you'll be better now. That's what they say. Come and do this. And then what they do is they slowly take you further and further and further away, because Judaizing is actually against the people who run the world, right? They don't want anyone in their family. They don't even believe it. They have their whole own made up tradition. And then they use people, they call them Shabbos Goy, right? They get used. But let's hear what this guy has to say. And remember, this is on Rob's show. Listen. Oh, it's muted. Pay attention to what this guy says. Remember, this guy outright right now blaspheming the scriptures. This was Adam, Parable of the Fig Tree. This was his co-partner. They were duo for years, at least 2 years. They worked together. This guy is now an antichrist, literally calls himself the Antichrist, right? And he was the biggest Torah observant guy. He had like maybe 30 or 40,000 followers, like huge Patreon. Listen.
That was a very confusing time for many people, and I wanted to go kill bad guys. I turned 18 in December. So 3 months later, so December 13th, I turned 18, and I went to the Marine Corps recruiting office, and I told them I wanted to go kill bad guys. And it's interesting because all my siblings ended up being cryptological linguists. And wow. Wow. I was actually the first to join the military of my siblings. And that's the same thing they recommended to me as well after we did the ASVAB, cryptological linguist, and send me to California, learn a different language, and do intel stuff. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, I am like a super awesome bad mamma jamma, and I'm gonna go kill some people.
Right? Snap, click, 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 bang. This is your fruit of Rob Skiba. He inspired this guy. Who now this guy calls Adam, who he loved. They were brothers. They worked together for years. He now calls him a bitch, a coward. He throws him under the bus on all of his podcasts. If you go and watch, his channel's called Bust and Jest because his name's Justin Best and he's doing some satanic reversal thing. We called this guy out every step of the way. We never let him get away with one word. We have it all documented.
And this is the Torah observant.
Yes.
Fake flat earth crew. Each one of these have these things in common. Torah observant, fake flat earth. It's a lot to have in common.
People wonder why I'm so riled up, why I care so much, because this guy right here, he's a wolf coming to try to eat the Father's children. He wants to devour you. He's roaring. He's moving to and fro with every move that he makes. So I'll move on. That's documented for you guys. And the reason why I can pull up these clips is because we've been actually watchmen. We've gone out and seen who says what and what they do and their fruit. Like I said, he was best friends with Adam. Adam got him on with Skiba. He came on here. He said, who followed? He was proclaiming to be a Christian while blaspheming the Christianity. He said that everything that Paul wrote is a lie, this guy. And when he did that, we came out and said, next he's going to say that you don't need Yahawashai. What did he do? Less than a year later, came out and said, you don't need Yahawashai for salvation. I'll show you another way. That's what Judaism is. Let's go on here. Now, this is an update for anyone who's a flat earther. I got this guy, Joey versus Joel, who I love his heart and I love his spirit for fighting for the truth. Shows disinformation, nonsense, CGI, 24-hour non-setting suns. The flat earth movement, Rob, and this is another one of Rob's guys. This is D-Marble. They sent D-Marble to Alaska because Jason and I were constantly saying, hey, the sun rises and the sun sets every day, everywhere on Earth. Sometimes it stays light out. Like I know Flat earthers that live in Grand Prairie, I had family that lived there. It stays light out to like 11, 12 o'clock in the summertime. Right?
Well,
And it
yeah,
gets
there
dark
is
out.
there is the midnight sun at extreme north latitudes where the sun hasn't set by midnight yet.
Sun set.
Mhm.
You missed the end of the key word. If you want to search for midnight suns, you got to search midnight sunset, right? Because look, D Marble went to Alaska. Look, this is me. I uploaded this just to make sure that it was documented. Look,
information that we were sending up
271
to the
Northwest.
group of guys in
It's
the back
setting
chat.
right
It was
there, people.
myself and Chris.
Everyone, the
It was
sun,
Dave Marsh, Ron
the sun
Hagler
is setting, people.
on the hour and forwarding that
there you
back
go.
to the.
He went there and filmed the sunset.
Out, people.
Went below.
I was taking a picture every hour on the hour and forwarding
Everything
that back
that
to
this
the
team
group.
promotes to you guys is fake.
Look at it, people. The sun
There.
is setting and it's getting dark.
it's
Where?
set.
Look at the light on the ground, people.
Where
This is the
why isn't it up in the
anticlimactic
sky?
part, except now. Hold on.
Look at that.
Everyone in the flat Earth community, D Marble went to Alaska to film the 24-hour sun, and look at what we're seeing, people. You can no longer deny this anymore.
Boom. There we go. Midnight.
No sun. Sun had already set a while ago. As he's panning, you're moving many degrees where the sun is going to then rise again in the sky from the east. The sun always sets in the west and rises in the east. I documented this January 28th, 2018, because this is for any flat earther. Listen, D Marble was the guy they sent. They sent to Alaska to film the 24-hour sunset. And lo and behold, the sun has set on him. Let's move on. Here's the TFR, Truth Frequency Radio. You got characters who are just straight up outright Satanists. Jaren from Jarenism on here. You got Mark Sargent, right? Yoked up. Mark is another proud, what is it called? Flat Earth Society card carrying member. The Flat Earth Society was the first disinformation campaign way before the YouTube Flat Earth community started, right? Mark was a part of that. You got Zen, who teaches things like there was a threesome in the garden and that Cain is really the son of Satan's or Simiazaz, when it's absolute hogwash. When we had him on and I confronted him and said, hey, how come you didn't read the book of the Cave of Treasures? What's your answer? How come you can't explain that Cain was born with his twin sister and Abel was born with his twin sister? And the reason that Cain's offering was rejected was because Cain was trying to plead for his own twin sister, which was against the code. But Zen will lie to you right out of his face. And he proclaims to be a man of Yahweh who supposedly speaks with the breath of the Father. Then you have right on the top, lo and behold, Rob Skiba. I'm telling you guys, do your research on who Truth Frequency Radio is. They're straight up Freemasonic. They publish Freemasonic magazines in their videos all the time, these people. They are not Torah observant. They're not Christians. This guy right here is a huge Kabbalist. He mocks Christianity constantly, thinks it's a joke, right? This guy, I know Zach. I've known Zach for 8 years. I know these people because I followed them. I just want people to understand, and there we go. The man himself, Jaren from Jarenism, who now runs a ridiculous show called Baby Truthers, where they just talk nothing about blaspheme and sodomy over and over again, and how great Jaren is. And they just chill and they just talk about Bitcoin. And Jaren, who was convicted of Bitcoin theft already, as well as being an internet beggar. This is the company and the fruit. And not only that, but we got the most disgusting one of the whole crew, deep inside Dave's dirty rabbit hole. This Satanist shill has done nothing but poison the well since he first stepped off of his dirty big three when he did Boston bombing, Sandy Hook, and 9/11. That's where Tiny Hat Dave was found, on those three hoaxes. I've known Dave again for over 8 years. Dave and Rob and Jaren, you see their team, you see the fruit. They've got guys who now say that they're the Antichrist and that the scriptures are completely fake. And just so people see, this is on Rob's show. That this is
all my siblings ended up being
they're all cryptological linguists. And this guy, he proclaims to be this emotionally intelligent character, 99% smarter than everyone else. But yet, everything that we showed him, he wasn't able to debunk, debate, or no one has ever refuted any of the words that Jason and I have ever said. No one is. This is on Rob's show, Revolution Radio. That's the other station that he was on. I'm almost done my presentation, and then we'll go back to Jason. I just want to finish it off by saying, like, this right here, this is the fruit of Rob Skiba, right? Here's his book, Archon Invasion, The Rise, Fall and Return of the Nephilim. He's got 6-fingered characters all over his information. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at this. You see this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is witchcraft. It's demonology. These are people that worship the fallen angels. He literally has skulls behind him in his set. And you guys want to come here and tell me that you're going to worship this man? You're calling him Moses? Adam Fink is calling this guy Moses? And we haven't even got into all the information. This is what the true shape we found looks like. Yet we don't make a likeness of the temple. Jason and I would never desecrate or blaspheme that image. This is what I warned Rob about almost probably 7 years ago or 6 years ago. I don't know the exact date. I could find that. I told him, don't you dare change the order or direction or the way that this was commanded. I told him. I was there and I did it out of love. And yet he continued to promote it and pursue it. And now whatever happened has happened. And I'm not saying any of this stuff has anything to do with what happened to Rob. That is completely, causality is a hoax. If we were going to bring causality into any argument, we'd have to go back to the original sin because everything happened because of that sin, right? But what I can promote and show you guys, provide evidence, is that the fruit from this man has never been from the Father, ever. It's been his own vain imaginations about seeds and doctrines of demons. And he never promoted truth. He led people to destruction. The people that he promoted are now antichrist characters that tell you that the scriptures are all lies. And he's the smartest person because his family are all cryptological linguists. And this is the fruit that comes from Rob Skiba. Now, I'm going to turn this screen share over to you guys. And the last thing I'm going to say is anyone else that's following this witchcraft and this demonic stuff, you need to repent and you need to beg the Father to open your eyes, to heal you from this. Heal you. I beg constantly for the truth. I get down on my face and beg, show me the truth, Father. I don't want to be in error. I care about your sheep, Father. I care about them. And I will never bow down or crouch to any man, especially a Freemasonic secret society touting liar. I will call him out the day he dies, the day after he dies. If anything, if the Father hath given me power, I would resurrect Rob Skiba right now, and I would bring him here, and he could answer to all of these accusations himself, because when he was supposedly here, he would never respond. He ignored us. He was ignorant. He didn't heed our warnings. He never gave us a chance. Never. We were blackballed because we didn't go along with his agenda, and we weren't Freemasons. Tell me when you're ready to screen share quit.
All right, we're going to give this a shot. That might have been an easy transition. Now I just need to screen share to you.
I think Jason's muted. He'll probably get unmuted in a second. But thank you guys. And again, the last thing I want to do is have to bring this information up. But who else is going to do it? Everywhere you go, he's being heralded as Moses, right?
Yeah, I think that was an easy transition. You just need to give up the screen share. I'll give it back to you. And
I love Rob Skiba, and I love Rob Skiba's family and anyone that's following him. If you're following him because you thought he was a path unto our Father, I love you. I love you. And I will see you in the kingdom if you have a righteous heart, because I know you'll follow the right path.
All right. So we're going to do just some basic investigation here. All you have to do right now is type into the Google search bar, and this is what's come up for me. So I've got this article open from the Daily Beast. And we can see that there are articles up from 6 hours ago from the New York Daily News and MSN. So this is Flat Earth Advocate anti-something dies of something we can't talk about. We'll go through this article, and this one says Flat Earth Theorist anti-something, Rob Skiba dies from that thing. So this guy is getting mainstream media coverage big time. They are connecting flat earth and being anti something to Rob and his death. They're placing the blame on the ignorant flat earth theorist that didn't want to take something. He is being used like that. So this is the way these sacrifices are committed by the Freemasons, where somebody's willing to make that sacrifice. Somebody's got to do it. And then they take the things that they want to discredit the most, and they attach this person to it. So that is the way Rob is being used, regardless of what's taking place. Let's take a look at that Daily Beast article. Maybe I can make this text a little bigger for people to see. It's going the wrong way. This here. So Rob Skiba, an influential figure in flat earth and Christian circles. Now, we were the first to identify him as a fake Christian, has died of the thing we can't talk about. Colleagues announced on Thursday he had been fighting the virus since at least late August, when he began exhibiting symptoms after Take on the World. So we have something to go research. What was Take on the World? A biblical flat earth conference. He has been sick since coming back from Take on the World. A Facebook friend posted in early September, adding that Skiba had been hospitalized for low oxygen levels. One of the country's most prominent advocates of the flat earth theory, Skiba was also skeptical of the thing we can't talk about, and some of the illness's treatments. On the first day of the Take on the World conference, Skiba authored a Facebook post suggesting that the thing we can't talk about is dangerous. To those who disagree, go ahead.
I just want to get a pause here. Do people not see the narrative right here? Like, I'm calm now. I'm calm. I don't need to, my righteous indignation can just chill. I just want to point this out because I'm the event skeptic. If you don't know, I was a truther before the flat earth movement. I was here on YouTube, and so was Rob. I knew Rob before too, right? So what I want to point is that they create these narratives. I showed you from, was it April 2020 that Rob was talking about this conference, Take on the World. He was saying it's held at a lodge and a campfire. All the code buzzwords were being said to this other guy that he was trying to get to come teach the blaspheme of the tabernacle to the rest of the world. And I just want to point out that they painted him as the anti-juicer, flat earth idiot. You see, this is how they script their narratives, right? There was another character named Mad Mike who supposedly was going to go up in a rocket, and they did the same thing with him. He made it all over the place. This idiot dies. Now we have this one. And I just really want to point out that anyone with a skeptical eye that looks at this with no bias can see that this whole entire thing is scripted to mock the flat earth movement, right? And end anti-juicers all in one. And they choose people like Rob, and they do this. And it's a long con. This isn't something that just happened overnight. You see, he was promoting this conference a year ago or a year and a half ago. He was getting ready for this, right? Continue, Jason. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No problem. We're just getting to the quote that Skiba authored on Facebook. This is what he wrote, and this is what the mainstream media is getting to use. To those who disagree with my position on our current situation, one of us is right, he wrote. Unless YHWH, and that is pronounced Yahawah, miraculously intervenes, based on what I'm seeing, hearing, the one scenario that really does appear to be coming into focus is the likelihood that within, I'd say, 2 to 3 years or so, one of us will probably be not living. Truly, I take no joy in saying this, nor will I if I am the one standing.
Wow. He called it? And he
called
wrote a Facebook. Okay, and something else I want to point out that they do with social media, with crisis acting, they specifically have scripted posts to go with their narrative. So Rob Babe Ruth, his own death. Okay, if that isn't a bell ringer of something being afoot, a red flag after red flag. Again, I tell you guys, look at this information, look at what we're presenting from a non-biased position, especially if you're a Torah observant follower of Rob's, because what you're hearing is probably super triggering you right now. But what I'm showing you, what Jason's now showing you, is the mainstream narrative of a script that was created that Rob was an actor in. There's no way that anyone could deny the evidence that we're seeing. He literally said he called his own death.
Nailed it. So that's what the media is mocking him for. Oh, one of us isn't going to be living. Oh, it turns out that it's the flat earther that doesn't believe in medical science, right? That's the one that's not living anymore. So that's the way this is being used. Let's check out another article. It says that Skiba's community memorialized him on social media, and that is the issue that we are dealing with right now. That there is a group of people that are trying to memorialize Skiba, and everything that he did for the truth was against it. It was wrong. It was bad. And we're going to be pointing out more and more of it tonight. All right. So this is some article up to Brain. This was published October 14th. This has got some insight that you might not find somewhere else. Rob Skiba, cause of death. Kingsgate Media co-founder Rob Skiba passed away at 52. Net worth, wife.
Supposed to say Fort Worth. Sorry, there's a typo in that article.
His net worth was his wife. Some guys will say that.
It's Fort Worth.
Right. Co-founder and chief operations officers of Kingsgate Media, Rob Skiba passed away at age 52 per the social media sources. He was survived by his family. Being a businessman, he was an editor, public speaker, and public author. He had a huge fan following over social media and was known for his work. But unfortunately, the lovely soul has gone from this world too soon. According to the sources, he died Wednesday, October 13th. And since the news was made official on social media, the netizens and known once are paying their tribute and sorrow to the co-founder of the Kingsgate Media. Rob Skiba's cause of death with a question mark. Now, we sort of got the answer in that other article, but let's see what is said here. The sudden demise made everyone shocked by who knew him personally, and his family is suffering from trauma and requesting privacy for some time. In this article, we are going to share all the details or information regarding to his life, family, and career. So this reads like the big bio of him. He was a famous editor and best-selling author, an American citizen. Now let's talk more about the famous personality of American who gave his best in every work. Author of Babylon Rising. All right, now if you just read that literally, it would sound like he's glorifying Babylon Rising. Book published in 2013 that relates to the Mayan prophecies. That's not very Christian. The Archon Invasion. Right, Archon Invasion. Wisdom from Torah series. So he's a Torah guy. And then the Seed series. Now the Seed series is interesting because this is like serpent seed. This is seed of the fallen. This is seed of demons, and it's the E's in all of his artwork are set up as the 33, the Freemason, right? And many more are the popular books of Skiba. People are currently paying honor to his name after the news of his demise went viral on social media. Now let's see down here. Yeah, here's more of his bio. While the publication has not made any kind of information regarding his funeral and visitations, he was also an expert in the study of Nephilim, right? A scholar of the Nephilim. Well, his theory was based on the idea in which a large and strong group of superhumans exist. They are the sons of gods. He also worked at the West Ministries for 7 years and also contributed to Zasco Productions as a freelance multimedia technician. Along with this, he was an owner of New Frontier Production Company and retired from the U.S. Army Sergeant. So he was military just like all these other guys, the Adam Fink, the Justin Best. The list goes on and on and on. Failed actor, military. Some of the sources are revealing that he was suffering from new coronary pneumonia, and because of his disease, he was admitted to the hospital and was lying on a ventilator in the intensive care. I thought this statement was interesting. He was admitted to the hospital and was lying, Lying, on a ventilator in the intensive care unit. He was lying that he was on a ventilator in the intensive care unit, or he was lying on a ventilator. He was survived by his wife. So Sheila was his second wife, as his first wife was his second wife as his first wife, and he separated in 2003. Very poorly written. The couple used to share some memorable pictures on social media and reveal their life events with followers. We have lost a good soul and a well-known gentleman. Gentleman, do you know?
Sir, a gentleman, huh?
Sir, gentleman, Freemason.
I don't know if my mic was too loud, but it's very interesting, all the verbiage here that you read. And there was something else that, really, really trolled me with Rob. Okay, Jason was a witness to this too. I didn't procure the timestamp right now. Rob had a problem with his wife, and whatever happened, she left him. He then went on podcasts and blasphemed King David. Right? This was another huge red flag. When I heard that, my spirit was so vexed. I was sorely vexed how could anyone say anything about what David had done? Right? David ran straight across a field towards a giant and literally killed him with a stone. He cut off his head with the giant's own sword and took it back to Jerusalem for Yahweh. That's the man that he wanted to blaspheme, right? And people wonder why I get so emotional with this stuff, because the most important thing that we can have is we hold fast to the word of the Creator. The living breath spoke these things into creation. And when men come out here for their own vain imaginations, they will be met with me and Jason if I'm alive breathing here.
All right. So maybe let's take a little bit of a current look of what's going on here. We've got Adam Fink that has provided coverage of this event. Come on, go theater. Do it. All right. And,
not looking for any pity here, but just to know,
we'll go towards the beginning of this.
Hundreds of thousands.
So we can find that spot where he references Moses, but the point of this thread or link that we're sharing right now, where is Rob Skiba now? Adam Parable of the Vineyard, these are all guys that we've called out at the same time before, because Adam Fink brought on Rob Skiba to his show to introduce the fake flat earth to him well after we had made clear to Adam Fink that it's the fake flat earth. And now, so here what he shares, his memorabilia of knowing Rob, is this picture taken at FEC, Flat Earth Convention. So this is the fake flat earth. You can see the sets on the side. It's the circular, domed, AE map model that we have been just railing against for the last 4 years. So this is where they got to meet in person, is at a fake flat earth convention. It's notable.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Parable of the Vineyard YouTube channel. My name is Adam, and I welcome you. As a lot of you have already heard, Brother Rob Skiba has passed. He passed last night. Don't know the exact time, but due to many complications, I don't have the exact diagnosis and exactly what happened, but I do know that Rob was sick for quite some time. And this really came as a shock to me and to many others in this greater community. When I say community, I mean people who are waking up out of the deceptions of this world and coming back to the truth of the Most High, His Torah, and
the truth of the Most High, His
Torah.
Torah.
Not Yahawashi.
And so I just, for the sake of all the Torah people, I want to point out that you can't just say Torah means all Scripture. All right, so I'm bringing up search for Torah right now, and the first result under Wikipedia reads, the Torah includes the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible. If we come down here and look at the big image here, Torah book series, the Torah includes the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible. If we look down here at My Jewish Learning, the Torah's 5 books. 5 books. So Torah, you can say it refers to all the scriptures, but if you tell that to another person and they go look for themselves, what they're going to discover is the Torah refers to the first 5 books of the Bible. That's it. That's it. You can say it refers to more, but it doesn't. So let's keep going.
Rob, as many of you know, some of you maybe new and you're like, who's Rob Skiba? But most of you have an idea. Rob has been very instrumental. The Father used him in a mighty way over the last, I think 8, 9, 10 years, something like that, in this truth movement, maybe even longer. I don't know exactly. I didn't start hearing about him or listening to him until about 2015. So yeah, I've been listening to him for about over 6 years now. The Father used him to bring in tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands, to a closer grasp of truth in these last days. really a forerunner, a front runner, if you will. Forerunner, I think, is the word I'm looking for, of bringing people into the truth. The Father using him, of course, always, all glory, of course, always goes to the Father. The Father does use people, and he used Rob in a mighty way for me as well. You know, this ministry that I have here that the Father's given me, a lot of the fruit that it's bearing came from seeds that were planted by Rob. He was very instrumental early in my walk.
So that fruit was guys like Justin Best, right? We went through the type of fruit that's coming. So that was Adam's guy. That was Rob Skiba's guy. We see where Justin is now, and that is your fruit.
Much like him and John Sherman, 119 Ministries, Steve Mutria, Torah Family, and a few others. Rob was probably the main
I don't hear Yahawashi
channel that I watched
Yeshua at all,
2015.
in any of this content. Never.
Yeah, so Rob was the big leader on the whole Torah movement, and Adam came in as like a little chick under his wing, right? As a bunch of these guys did. So Rob was the guy that led the way on this, and he's got some early timestamps on being a New World Order disseminator of disinformation. We'll be getting into that.
2016 and 2017. And then I started, focusing on the ministry here. But in any case, there's some scriptures I want to read regarding passing, because it's natural that we want to grieve, and it's Torah, which I'll read here in a second. But I want you all to keep his family in prayer, the ones he's left behind, because as we will share with you with scriptures shortly, Rob's in a better place than we are right now. So we'll just go over that here shortly. But, I want to just say a few things. I know there's a lot of people that have some stern words for Rob Skiba, and a lot of people have said some really nasty things about him over the years. Being a liar,
deceiver.
I didn't know Rob as well as a lot of other people out there knew him, but I knew him enough to know that he was genuine behind the scenes. He really was. He reached out to me quite a bit, especially during.
So he's validating Rob. He said he didn't really know him, but he knew him well enough to know that he's a good guy. You know how many times we've heard that line? So here's the scriptures that he's referring to. And let's get to the point where it starts talking about what happens to a person when they die. It's good scriptures, right? We want to know. All right, how far along is that? I think it's in this area. Oh. Yeah, it's in this area. So he's going to skip, but we'll make sure to
renew the
catch
creation,
it.
or whether we shall be tormented at once. So basically Ezra's saying, what happens to us before the resurrection happens? He answered me and said, I will show you that also, but do not be associated with those who have shown scorn, nor number yourselves among those who are tormented. For you have a treasure of works laid up with the Most High, but it will not be shown unto you until the last time.
So these are words to the righteous, to keep yourself separated from the wicked, from the wolves in sheep's clothing. All right, listen.
And we know that Rob has a treasure laid up with the Most High as well. Now, concerning death, the teaching is, when the decisive decree has gone forth from the Most High, that a man shall die, as the spirit leaves the body to return again to him who gave it, first of all, it adores the glory of the Most High. So, when people have these near-death experiences and they see this bright light, maybe they've been telling the truth all these years, because it doesn't matter if evil or good, they see the glory of the Most High first, period. And if it is one of those who have shown scorn and have not kept the way of the Most High, let's just skip that. We don't even need to read what happens to.
Let's just skip that. No, let's go ahead and read that. So we got to.
Who have shown scorn and have not kept the way of the Most High. Let's just skip that. I don't want to.
All right, I got to back up a few frames. All right, have not kept the way of the Most High. It says, such spirits shall not enter into habitations, but shall immediately wander about in torments, ever grieving and sad in 7 ways. So there's a list of 7 ways that they are tormented. The first way, because they have scorned the law of the Most High. The second way, because they cannot now make a good repentance that they may live. The third way, they shall see the reward laid up for those who have trusted the covenants of the Most High. Now he skipping quick, so I gotta...
What? Hold on. Why would he not want to read this? Because if you look at this on the surface level, on the fleshly or earthly understanding, it's promoting the covenant, the law, the commandments almost, you could say, right? Why would he skip this?
He blasted right past it. The fourth way, that they shall consider the torment laid up for themselves in the last days. So this isn't even the torment that they're going to have. They're considering the torment that's coming. The fifth way, they shall see how the habitations of the others are guarded by angels in profound quiet. The sixth way, they shall see how some of them will pass over into torments. So that's talking about a future worse torment than what they have. The seventh way, which is worse than all the ways that have been mentioned, because they shall utterly waste away in confusion and be consumed with shame, and shall wither with fear at seeing the glory of the Most High, before whom they sinned while they were alive, and before whom they are to be judged. Where is it? To be judged in the last, and then if I go one frame, I can't see the end of that. So I can't read the end of the seventh way. One more frame. Now this begins with what happens to the righteous people. So we'll let Adam read this.
Those who have kept the ways of the Most High. Rob falls into this category. And again, this is not just for Rob. This is for anyone that has believed in the Most High through his son Yahusha and walked as he walked, kept his commandments. Now, this is the order of those who have kept the ways of the Most High when they shall be separated from their mortal bodies. So this is what happened to Rob last night, and this is where he's at now. During the time that they lived in it, they laboriously served the Most High and withstood danger every hour, that they might keep the Torah of the lawgiver perfectly.
You can't just stop and insert Torah. Right, because the Torah refers to the first 5 books. We covered that. Torah means first 5 books. That's not enough. You got to keep all the law. You got to actually give recognition to Yahawashi in the New Testament as well.
At least we all strive for that, right? Therefore, this is the teaching concerning them, right? So this is where Rob is, and right this second. First of all, they shall see with great joy the glory of him who receives them, for they shall have rest in 7 orders. The first order...
Here comes the tears. Now, I want everybody that's paying attention to this to ask themselves if they think that he also went into legitimate tears, because it seems very quick and no tears.
Because they have striven with great effort to overcome the evil thought which was formed within them, that it might not lead them astray from life into death. The second order, because they see the perplexity in which the souls of the ungodly wander, and the punishment that awaits them. The third order, street sweeper.
Wipe your eyes.
Let's make some noise too.
No.
The third order, they see the witness which he who formed them bears concerning them, that while they were alive they kept the Torah which was given to them in trust. The fourth order, they understand the rest which they now enjoy, being gathered into their chambers and guarded by angels in profound quiet, and the glory which awaits them in the last days. Let me read that again, because I'm telling you what, this gives me peace as to where Rob is at, that he is in a better place than we are right now. The fourth order, that they understand the rest which they now enjoy. This is what Rob is going through right now, being gathered into their chambers and guarded by angels in profound quiet, and the glory which awaits them in the last days. The fifth order, they rejoice that they have now escaped what is corruptible and shall inherit what is to come, and besides they see the straits and toil from which they have been delivered, and the spacious liberty which they are to receive and enjoy in immortality. The sixth order, when it is shown to them how their face is to shine like the sun, and how they are to be made like the light of the stars, being incorruptible from then on. Hallelujah. You know what? I want to read a passage that is like
not
that.
Through Freemasonry or any Nephilim glorification is not the path to the face like the shining sun. Absolutely not. That's blasphemy.
Yeah, so all these things were great. So for the righteous person, he was reading a list of the blessings that a person will experience when they pass on from this world. All right, so That's good news. Now, that's for righteous people. For wicked people, we had to read because he skipped it, but that's what wicked people get to experience.
In the book of Daniel, and this is for Rob. At that time, Michael, the great prince, shall stand up that stands over the children of your people, and there shall be a time of tribulation, such tribulation as has not been from the time that there was a nation on the earth until that time. At that time your people shall be delivered, every one that is written in the book, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to reproach and everlasting shame. So this is the coming resurrection. Now listen, here's what it's saying. And the wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and some of the many righteous as the stars forever and ever. Praise Yahuwah.
That's for righteous people.
So again, so Rob is now seeing when it is shown to them how their faces to shine like the sun, and how they are to be made like the light of the stars, being incorruptible from then on. And the seventh order, which is greater than all that have been mentioned, because they shall rejoice with boldness, and shall be confident without confusion, and shall be glad without fear. For they hasten to behold the face of him whom they served in life, and from whom they are to receive their reward when glorified. This is the order of the souls of the righteous, as henceforth is announced, and the aforesaid are the ways of torment,
Righteous.
which those who would not give heed shall suffer hereafter. I answered
Not
and said,
give heed to the truth.
Truth, truth, truth.
Pay attention to those words, everybody, dearly.
Will time therefore be given to the souls, after they have been separated from the bodies, to see what you have described to me? He said they shall have freedom for 7 days, so that during these 7 days they may see the things of which you have been told, and afterward they shall be gathered into their habitation. So long story short, Rob is, I guess, like being shown things for 7 days.
Yeah, 7 days for the righteous and for the wicked being shown, and getting different treatment. So, should I bring up the Moses part of this?
Yeah, sure, because I do have more scriptures about Moses I could maybe speak to after you do that.
Let's see here. This was back at 10 minutes. Let's give this a listen.
Horsemen. You know, Rob, in a lot of ways, which I'll read here in a second, I guess would be kind of like a Moses figure. I'm not saying Rob's Moses, but in the fact that
Blasphemy to put someone who his life's work and ministry was to promote the fallen angels and skulls behind his head. You're going to bring Moses' name into that. Adam, you should repent of that very quickly.
All right, so we've got a couple different routes we can go now. There is Rob's making the connection to the mark of the wild animal, which actually is a little bit earlier than your call. So you have a 7-year call on the mark of the wild animal, but supposedly this clip of Rob comes from 2013. Now this is something that was uploaded by Rob to his channel on August 1st, 2020. So this is during the pandemic. All right? So he saw the need to put up this timestamp. You see what it says here? Can everybody see that? Can you see that? Let's see what Rob had to say.
Well, Dr. Thomas Horn and others speculate on this, how something like this might happen with regard to a pandemic. Again, in true Hegelian style, Hegelian dialectic is where you cause a problem which causes a reaction that you just so happen to have the solution for already ready to go, right? So, okay, just imagine this. Whoever they are, they're responsible for everything, right? Release a really bad flu pandemic of some sort. Well, imagine this.
2013, that's what Rob said at the Prophecy Club.
Don't get the shot that they've got all ready to go for you. No shot or cure means, well, you don't have a job. Somebody mentioned last night their job requires them to take the flu shot. And if they don't get the flu shot, they lose their job. So we're already seeing kind of a microcosm of that happening right now, a test. Got to take the shot. Or you can't be a teacher in school, or you can't work at CVS or whatever. You got to take the shot. So they're already making it mandatory for some people. So we've got a little miniature test going on with that. If you don't take it, there's no cure, no job. You end up being quarantined. Oh, you don't want to take the shot? You don't want to take what really I believe is going to be the mark of the beast? Well, fine, you're going to have to be quarantined. Bring you over here. Well, that means you're not.
Well, this is all the buzzwords that we can't talk about. I don't know if we could have played that, but it's documented now. It's over. You did it. It's fine. He got the timestamp, I guess 1 year before me, right? That's fine. I wasn't working for a Freemasonic satanic organization. The breath of the Father put that in me.
Yeah, so you had covered his connection to TFR earlier, but now we're seeing his connection to the Prophecy Club. So I did a little bit of looking into the Prophecy Club today, and I wanted to see what other types of stuff the Prophecy Club was talking about, whether or not I could find the actual clip of him, the original, not his clip. I wasn't able to find that, but I was just able to find what the Prophecy Club is like. This is another video from 2013. This one's titled Prophecy Club Mind Control and the New World Order by Al Neal. And this is the way their material went over there. Just check this stuff out. We'll watch a little bit of the intro, and then we'll watch the outro, and we'll see what kind of team Rob was on at the Prophecy Club.
Welcome to the Prophecy Club, where we study and research Bible prophecy. Our topic tonight is New World Order mind control. Now, we know that Satan's, one of his favorite tricks is being subtle. He doesn't like to come to us in the light. He likes to operate in the darkness.
Like
the Bible says in him there was no light. So he's very subtle. He was the most subtle beast of the field. And through his subtleties, he's done a lot of damage to a lot of Christians simply because they don't see and they don't understand his subtle and his subliminal ways. Well,
so he had to go with the 666 hand sign. Subliminal ways.
The lid is going to be removed. The light is going to be shown on some of his subtle tactics tonight. Our speaker, now see, the problem is we see these subtleties, but it's hard to put your finger on it. You've got to study for years and years and years to be able to see his subtleties. And I don't know of another speaker in the world that can speak on this. It takes years, and he spent 25 years doing it. 35 years.
So I'm going to skip ahead here a little bit, bring up the guy. He's going to explain quickly mind control.
Thank you. We'll begin with my favorite quote on mind control. There are 3 or 4 good researchers in the country who have approached the subject. But let's just see what they have to say about mind control existing in our day. This is a quote by Alex Constantine. There are only 3 or 4 books available, even if you search on the subject of mind control, let alone subliminals. Notice what he said. The science of mind control has achieved the scale of a criminal subculture and left a wide path of chaos and confusion that crosses all international boundaries. Please notice he says that this takes place under the nose of the public, and it is obscured by cover stories, even leaving dead witnesses. And notice he says that the reporters are very naive.
Not naive. No, they're in on it. So I found it interesting at the end. This guy brings up gematria, and he really points out how gematria is Kabbalistic mind control. And so I wanted to take this tidbit out of it because the gematria gets used so heavily by this Torah observant crew. We've got guys like well, they're not exactly Torah guys. You've got Dr. Barry Aw, you've got You've got God in a Minute, Steve Fletcher. So within the Rapture Watch community, you have your entire Gematria crew. I don't know how much of it Skiba was into, but the network that he was in, where he was a front runner. We just saw him be the front. I think he's got the earliest timestamp for calling the mark of the wild animal. And this is the type of stuff that they talk about. This is New World Order stuff.
Unrelated. But if you will look closely, I mean, they're betas, they're deltas. Notice he says that are killers.
That's not the clip. I want to go a little bit further. It's right towards the end. Here. Oh, it's hard to find.
Read and get a quick idea.
Oh, here we go. Just gotta go back a few.
Programmer states that the Illuminati mind control intentionally used verses from every book of the Bible. The programmers also intentionally used everything Jesus said in one distorted way or another in the programming. Now they're using the Bible and verses in connection with this mind control programming. Remember earlier, I said the biggest shock I've received in 35 years of research is that the occultists seem to know more about the Bible than the people that carry them. They actually use the verses in the programming. Again, let's finish this little quote. A person can pick up a Bible with Jesus' words in red and get a quick idea of one of these areas where this mind control is being used. They're taking.
All right. So the point of this is that Gematria, I didn't find the whole clip of it, but Gematria is being used in this subliminal way by New World Order agents to draw incorrect conclusions in the scriptures. And so are these guys calling it out, or are these guys the ones implementing it? Because this guy was in 2013. This is long before guys like Russian Vids were externalizing how Gematria is used. Before guys like, who's the other big Gematria guy that...
Zach on the Truth Frequency Radio, Zachary K. Hubbard.
Zachary K. Hubbard. So there's Truth Frequency Radio again. The connections just run rampant. Now what I'd like to do is go to Skiba's channel himself and take a little look at what's going on here. Let's go to his oldest. And so you can see his very oldest thumbnails here references seed. Seed. Now if you look in the thumbnail itself, you can see that the E's face each other, and all the Freemasons, no one recognized this as the 33. So he's on TFR, and then we're going to pick out a few of these things to talk about. So he's the guy behind this animation. A lot of people have seen this animation before. Let's make this bigger. This is the stuff that is being used by David Weiss. But Rob Skiba is the guy behind this animation. Now let's see how it's developed.
And we were telling him when he was putting this out that there was a straight path of the sun that rose due east and set due west, going straight, disproving any circular path. And not only to top that off, the outer path of the sun is almost 60,000 miles. The sun would literally have to whip by you in the sky to cover that many miles. This entire model we've debunked 1,000,000 times.
Well, and here is the lie, quite literally. So let me make sure people can see all this. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so it's not being cropped so much.
Right there, the sun on the left is on the outer path. It would have to go like, I don't even know how many times faster in the sky. It would just That is absolutely not the way that the sun works. We've debunked this every way from south from Sunday, because the due east, due west completely, the sun has to actually travel off the map. We've gone over and over this. So many different ways we can debunk it.
All right. So I just want to point out what he wrote here.
About stellarium, how he was the one who came up with this.
Yeah, so here it's actually written in the blue in the video. It says, I did not manually adjust the speeds for each season nor do any other motion manipulation at all. What you see here is exactly what the globe-based software Stellarium rendered, just overlaid on top of the flat Earth map. Notice how January and June syncs up day for day and hour for hour, but with a faster sun going around the outer rim and a slower sun moving in the tighter northern circuit. All right, so
it's retarded.
It's retarded because the sun would, in order to make it around in 24 hours, has to speed up. Like anybody with a functioning mind can understand that the sun, in order to cover the same amount of land, all right, the time zones, it has to go faster the larger the radius is. Slower, the more it's on the inside. So I just want to point out that if we stop this clock, he says he's supposedly synced this up. Now let's take a look at the difference here. He's got day 1, 1, and then it's 7:38, then 6, 1. So this is 6 months separated, 7:48. So it's 10 seconds off between the two, right? And then if we jump along here, now our difference is 36 seconds to 51 seconds. Now our difference is 36 to 52. Now our difference is 37 to 46. You'll see that it's going to vary back and forth by 10, sometimes 15 seconds, because what he's done is he's sped this up trying to match this, right? In a video editor, he's sped this up to try and match this, but they don't match exactly because of the way it's sped up. So he's had to do lots of cuts and speed adjustments, and you can see it throughout this, that the time, here's a 10-second difference. Now let's look out here, 37 to 52. There's a 15-second difference.
The very fact alone that the outer ring, so it takes the sun 24 hours to travel from over your head to get back over your head in the same spot. For the sun to do that in a 24-hour period, traveling, because the outer ring here, we measured it. I was on the other team, the Flat Earth Conspiracy Network, because we debunked this. It's 60,000 miles, right? Nowhere on the rectangular reality that we live in will you measure anything 60,000 miles. It's 24,000 miles, right? And it travels 1,000 miles an hour all the time. The fact that the sun would circle around that outer ring that we're explaining, 60,000 miles in circumference, right? Just imagine how far south in the sky the sun would actually be for someone in northern Canada. In Grand Prairie, the sun would be below the horizon all the time. It would, look at how far out it is. The sun never goes beyond the tropics, 10 degrees north and 10 degrees south. It travels back and forth exactly the way that Enoch explained it. We bring up a modeling program.
23 and a half degrees north and south.
Sorry, thank you. I see, I'll stand in error and correction. Thank you. It's been a while since we discussed this, but we have the actual 3D software that's on a flat plane that literally shows you word for word the 6 gates that Enoch talked about, 6 in the east and 6 in the west, and how the sun rises and sets in those gates specifically throughout the year. It goes back and forth along its path, and the sun and the moon does the same thing, but it does it monthly through the whole path back and forth. This right here is absolute blasphemy against the truth of what the Creator brought.
Sorry, the super smash of this is, so if you look at the sun that's they're representing here in the summer solstice, the speed that it's traveling around here at the Tropic of Cancer, all right, watch it go around here, that speed, it travels the exact same speed at the winter solstice at the Tropic of Capricorn. This one down here, the exact same speed. So it's an absolute lie to say that this is taking exactly.
Hang on. Well, you breezed way past that. I don't think everybody completely understand. I want to rewind here. What Jason said was, if you go north or south of the equator, right, the furthest path that it goes north It takes the same amount of time if you go south, the same amount of degrees south at the equal latitude, right? It goes the same speed. If the AE map model has a 60,000 mile circumference on the outside, the outer tropic would ipso de facto be way larger. Yet we can measure them. They're identical. The times when someone measures the sun above their head and it comes back, it measures the same. This is the absolute smash of the AE model, because the inside tropic ring, I could tell that to a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old that understands, let's take a string, wrap it around the inner circle, take another string, wrap it around the outer circle, straighten those two strings out, and they're going to be different lengths. Yet we've actually measured that the two tropics, the one in the north and the one in the south, Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, are the same measurement. It takes, I could explain this to a 12-year-old, and I explained it to Rob many times, yet here we are still having to fight against a false paradigm. The Freemasons in the New World Order, they give you two wrong choices. They'll never give you the truth. They've swore oaths to lie, right?
So this is the crap that you see in David Weiss's fake flat Earth app. That's going to make me scroll again. All right, so there's more stuff to share. So this is what he calls Enoch's domed world.
Hey guys, Rob Skiba here. Just want to give you a quick up.
Let's go to his image. So here is, this is Rob's, this is YHWH's terrarium. All right, as conceptualized by Rob Skiba.
Look at that. He's created some kind of a prison. It's just blasphemy in front of my face every time. And I told Jason that I didn't want to cover this tonight. Jason was the one who came up with the title. Now, I did say that I was surprised at how much traction this man was getting, that he was being memorialized. But I just want people to look. I'm sorry for interrupting you over and over again, Jason. You know my righteous indignation just takes over. His terrarium, and at least he has the correct consonants. So in the true name, the Paleo Hebrew name of the father, YHWH, is all they had to write in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, because it was always the vowel, the A, always. Sometimes, though, there is one exception. There is an I that gets put in there, like Yahawashai is where you see the I put in. So you really have YHWH, you go YA, WAH, Yahweh. And when you take the Yah off, because you'll hear these Torah observant people constantly saying Yah, 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 Moses hath been the character that said, I will call thee he exists, because his name was just Hawa, and it's a palindrome. It's spelled the same way both ways, as well as Eve's original name too. But we'll get into that at another time. But I want to explain to people, at least he had the correct name, Yahweh. He's got Yahweh's terrarium, except Yahweh would never build a box jail cell thing like this. This is absolute blasphemy. He's trying to represent the gates there on the outside of his terrarium.
Well, he put
You're muted.
He put a snow globe inside of a box. That's what he did. So
because the corners.
He was smart enough to know that there was no four corners on his snow globe.
See, guys like Matt Long, I'll give him a shout out. He was the one who came up with the idea that the four corners was the center of the map, which is true. There is a center of the four corners, but then you also have four outside corners too, which is impossible on a circle or a sphere, right? That's what I keep telling you guys. The Freemasons and the Satans, they give you a false dichotomy. They give you two wrong choices. And then someone like Jason and I, who actually do 8-year dissertation search into the entire field of maps, cartography, everything. We studied it, 3D mapping and modeling, will be silenced and put down. And Rob Skiba here with the misinformation, blaspheming the tabernacle, everything that he's done, he'll be checkmarked and verified by YouTube, promoted to the top of the feeds, brought into all these different lodge meetings and conferences where they do nothing but blaspheme. You should see the content that Rob was a part of, the crew, the satanic agenda that these people ran. And you know what? We covered it all. We have hundreds of videos documenting everything that these people did. You know why? Who else was going to stand up and do it? What watchman was willing to give up their own bias to not follow the crowd, be pushed and swayed into this satanic Freemason agenda by Mark Sargent and his team. Jason and I stood against everyone. We stood in the face of all this. And now look, Skiba's being claimed as the anti-juicer, who is the flat earther, who's now gone because of the cerveza. And we are still here exposing every single bit of it.
All right, so look at this. Then we get into, so he was considered to be one of the physical proof flat earthers, the guy that goes out and documents stuff. So here's what Skiba had. He's the It's a Mirage guy.
Hey guys, Rob Skiba here. As many of you may know,
Sure, we talked about this last night. Conditions are right on the lake. We're actually seeing a mirage of the Chicago skyline. Very interesting here. Here's what's happening. This is a good example of a superior mirage. So Joshua was on the Lake Michigan shore.
Jaren's intro.
Still to this day, I think. I don't know if somebody in the chat still watches him. Let me know.
I think he still has It's a Mirage in his intro.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to explain what this is? Go ahead.
Towards the west, and Chicago's beyond the horizon. Should not be able to see it. However, with the right conditions, we have an inversion. We have cold.
Pause it. He said beyond the horizon. So what Jason and I have completely proven through evidence and documentation and verifiable, repeatable tests, right? Mall Angel video reference point, is that everybody has a personal circle of sight where the sky and the ground meet. It's called a vanishing point. Anything beyond your vanishing point, if you're 6 feet tall, it's 3 miles, then becomes obscured from the bottom up. It's completely provable on a flat plane. Jason had a model in a mall walk across a flat floor, and he put the camera on the ground, and her feet disappeared on the level, flat floor, exactly the way that ships disappear when they go out. We've documented this. Flat Earth, true perspective, right? He did mention the city where he's speaking of. You can't photograph it because it is beyond the vanishing point. If you
it's
go,
like 60 miles.
Yes, but there are areas along the lake, many areas that are like 30 miles away, where you can go and take a picture of. And then you can fake this evidence. And what I want to point out here is in the beginning of the Flat Earth, the Freemasons and the secret societies, they made fake news stories. This is fake. When people aren't doing the news and they're on set, they're paid to do other pieces. They film these. Now, Rob has this channel called Friend of Yahweh, who has all of these connections. Rick Hummer literally was rolling ready, and he literally got to do a skit with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Do you understand what I'm saying, everybody on the other side of the screen? This man on the screen right here, and we're going to get into the evidence of this, what they supposedly proved flat Earth by filming the Chicago skyline. This man right here was interviewed Neil deGrasse Tyson as a redneck, mocking truthers, and people ate it up. This guy spoke at a conference, and he basically had them all say, "We're not retarded," and they filmed it all. It was the most ridiculous thing.
And this whole thing.
Look at that. Look at this picture. Anyone here thinks that's real? I want you to step up right now. I want you to be a man and tell me that you can't see that they've edited the horizon with fog. This is the dumbest thing I ever saw.
It didn't prove nothing. It's all lies. And
they weren't on the other side of the lake, zooming in, showing you the skyline. They're like a few miles. They drove across a few miles of the lake, and then they still doctored the evidence on top of that.
Mm-hmm. So this is the way he covered it. We've got some coverage of our own of it. Shoot, I gotta scroll again.
We can go for hours too. I have got no time limit right now. We're gonna go through everything that we have planned. I have got more scriptures to talk about Moses and the covenant and the truth of what we really should be sharing with people, the most important scriptures. But we can cover all of this with Rob, all of it.
Let's see here. Let's take a look at it another way. Let's go to IMDb now. And let's go back. I want to go back a few pages here. Everybody can do this. Just type in Rob Skiba, and his IMDb is going to be one of the top links. All right, so this is the page I was looking for. Rob Skiba, editor, writer, director. Rob Skiba is an editor and writer known for Seed, Paradise Lost, Sleeper Agent, Archon Invasion, and The Return of the Nephilim, Part 2. So down here where you got some more details, the first one is called Testing the Globe, and it's a TV series. Anybody familiar with the fact that Rob Skiba was doing a TV series? Well, he was. So it says episodes 8. Let's find all those episodes. Where are they? Here they are. So I scrolled through this. Let's read these. Flat Earth coincidences, Flat Earth and atmospheric magnification. This is the one that we want to check out. So I knew right away that Rob was the guy behind the fake physical proof of how we could have a rotating sun that never set. Right? He's the guy behind that. And it's all in this video, Flat Earth and atmospheric magnification. This was an episode of season 1, put out January 20th, 2017. So let's look at his channel here. Guess what? Come on, load. Make this bigger. This is... Where's the date on it? It's not going to tell us now? Doesn't want to tell us. It did earlier. This was from that time period. Let me try a refresh and see if it shows up this time. Here we go. This was from January 25th, 2017, put on his YouTube channel. So let's check this out here quick.
In our atmosphere, I went to a few websites. I just did a Google how much water is in the atmosphere, and this is the USGS website, usgs.gov, Science for a Changing World. The USGS Water Science School talks about there is always water in the atmosphere. Clouds are, of course, the most visible manifestation of atmospheric water, but even clean air contains water in particles that are too small to be seen.
Remember, this is a TV show. Somebody added that music.
One estimate of the volume of water in the atmosphere at any one time is about 3,100 cubic miles, or 12,900 cubic kilometers. And it goes on to say that if all the water that's in the atmosphere were to rain down at once, it would cover the globe.
Cover the globe. So he's going to go through all this. There's water in the atmosphere. Everything's about water. How much water in the atmosphere?
Gallons of water in the invisible vapor phase. This is enough water to cover the entire Earth, land and ocean with 1 inch of rain. And of course goes on to talk about that as well. So yeah, there's a lot of water in the atmosphere. I think we all kind of just know that, but I don't think we've ever really thought about what that means. And so I'm thinking, if the atmosphere, especially over water, is made up of zillions and zillions of...
So look at what he's doing here. He's taking... This is a CGI picture. They give credit to Joshua in the wiki. But he's bringing lots and lots of water drops. Water drops into the scene. You see how he's fading in the water right here? He's saying that there's lots and lots of water. And that's the reason why we can see Chicago from Michigan, which can't be done. It's too far away. So process that. He's saying lots and lots of water.
Tiny convex drops of water. Then collectively, perhaps they all combine to make one big convex lens, in which case it would act like a magnifying glass. Okay, so
hold on, pause it.
With
I just
that
want to make a comment here. So another trick of the Satans that I want to point out here is they'll backhandedly give you the supposed evidence for the ball earth, well pertaining to be the flat earther, right? This is the trick. Satan guises himself as an angel of light, all of the wicked demons to it. They come to you and cry, like Adam Parable, Fig Tree, or Daniel Vallis. They cry as they're leading you off to destruction. Yet I will stand out here and stand up and die for you. And then you all want to follow this stuff.
Mind, let's look up some websites dealing with the refraction of light. You might see a graphic something like this, showing light bending downward. And here's your typical graphic showing how light rays entering some sort of medium, like in this case water, refraction causes the light to bend downward. Now we've all seen pictures of, a pencil or something in a glass of water.
No, this is what the Freemasons do all the time.
Witchcraft.
This is the witchcraft. They show you something like this and then say this is that.
Water, and how not only does refraction bend the image downward, it also magnifies it. I'm going to say that again. Water causes refraction, bending the image downward and magnifies it. So this is important now. So now back to another clip from that previous video.
The science is the same of that of a lens. Here's a simple example.
So if you're looking at Chicago here, just maybe now you can just see the top.
I just want you to pay attention to this setup, this science experiment. We've got these banners coming in. We have a computer that says Skyline Skepticism, Lake Michigan Mirage. And look at what they're doing here. It's just crazy.
The Sears Tower, and if our simulated temperature inversion moves into place, hopefully now you can see pretty much all of Chicago,
see all the lower buildings,
including what's at ground level.
So the atmosphere.
So this guy with this lens right here, looking at that, this guy, like, this is such nonsense. They got the caution tape all around this. Watch this.
Really is like acting like a lens.
Yes.
All right. So that's this whole thing was a setup for this is his physical experiment. So let's run through this quickly. There is a cell phone recording sitting on a table that has this wall set up that has a sheet of plastic across the opening. There's a bottle of water sitting right here, and then there's a hand that is moving this like cardboard structure that has a sun on it. So let's see what he's doing here.
The science is the same of that of a lens. Here's a simple example. The atmosphere really is like acting like a lens.
So he's drawing the connections to these last clips.
Yes.
All right. So now I want to have a little fun with this. I'm going to bring up the annotate. And I'm going to mark out the size of our sun right here. All right, there's our sun. Now let's let this play a little bit. I have to get the mouse back. And now let's annotate again. Can anybody see the problem here? Is the sun larger than when it first came up? So here's his setup. You can see that he's got the camera here recording that he's moved in the sun right here. Now this right here is a new scene that's been absolutely added to this. This is this
layer.
It's a layer. There is no Green Mountain scene. You can see the camera is looking.
He's simulating it. He's simulating it.
He's simulating it.
And just for a cliff note, just for a cheat here, I'll tell you guys, Jason and I and many other people have actually filmed the sunrise and sunsets. The sun rises and sets the exact same size every single time. Everyone that's ever watched a sunset every single time in their entire lives have never seen the sun change size ever. Yet Rob and his bandits of Freemasons and secret societies will tell you that the sun shrinks as it slowly moves away. Yeah, I just want to speak here, Jason. I was the one who tried to make this work. I'm a drywaller. I'm a carpenter. I took a sheet of drywall and I took a spotlight and I put the camera at the center of the table and I pulled the spotlight back, trying to simulate how the sun could stay above the plane, yet still simulate setting. And I wasn't able to do it. And from that, I can show you guys the video in my timestamp way before Rob's here, way before. They created this test. And the only way that they could get it to work was they put a piece of bent glass in front of the scene. And what Rob's done, if you can scroll back up for a second, please. Rob's lifted the camera angle up on the right side of the demonstration and pointed it down at the scene, right? And he's got the piece of glass there and his cell phone on the left. And that's supposedly, you can see the bent wavy lines. He's trying to demonstrate globe Earth atmosphere is what he's doing here, because both the globe Earth and the fake AE map model have huge disastrous problems because the sun, get this, if you guys film the sunset in certain places, you can literally see it sink into the ground. And when you watch when the sun is setting, planes will fly directly above the sun, and you can watch as they get above it, they will be lit completely from the underside of the sun, completely proving that the sun is directly below the plane going into the earth for each perspective, for each person on the plane, right? Each person. The only way that I theorized that you would never see a sunset is if you had a plane that could travel 1,000 miles an hour and you just tailed it. Then I don't know if the sun would set. I don't know how that would work, right? They globe Earth theory, they tried to mock something like that, but they never did. Again, what I'm trying to explain is the flat Earth model states that the sun needs to be 3,000 miles up circling, which is an absolute asinine assertion because it doesn't match any of our measurements. We can go outside and measure the sun every single day and it will never do a right-handed hook turn, or it will never shrink. Jason and I have hundreds and hundreds of videos documenting it, live streaming it from a drone, from my live stream, from Jason's P1000, P900, well, also filming it with GoPros. We've documented this over and over again. And I'm just explaining to people, this is all Rob could come up with, this Freemason sort of magic trick that's an absolute asinine, retarded joke of anyone who has any intellect. This was put out here to dissuade people from the truth. When intelligent people see this, they go, this is retarded, and they run. They think the earth is a globe for sure. Look at this guy here with this piece of glass trying to pull this thing on the table, when they can go outside and a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old can conceptualize that the sun is sinking down and setting, right? It's so basic, you guys on the other side of the screen. And this is the problem that I have with these liars and deceivers. This is what people are memorializing and worshiping. They're going to be led off in destruction.
Yeah, so it gets worse. So notice we did mark out that in this demonstration the sun shrank. Right? It's obvious that they're different sizes because he's moving in and out. And now he's going to go into a severe contradiction type mode. Check this out. And he says, and of course, when there is less moisture in the air, it will look more like this as the sun travels on his circuit.
I want to speak on this because I was around when David Weiss brought this out. Me and Matrix Decode, another flat earther, were questioning the content that was coming out from the other side. This is before I was an anti-AE mapper. And I saw this footage and I looked at it. And if you just with an open eyes, if you look at this screen right now, the sun's position in the sky would always be illuminating the dirt and ground in front of that observer. You will never ever see the ground dark with the sun in the sky. It doesn't work like that. That's retarded. It's absolute asinine. And on top of that, if you take a time-lapse photography, right? If you set your camera outside and hit time-lapse button, as the sun does set, its full normal size, because of the way that, what is it called? What's the word, Jason?
For what?
Because of,
Word for what?
When the sun, as it moves further away from you, the glare of the sun as it's setting decreases. What's the word for that?
Twilight?
What?
Twilight?
No, but okay. The answer to this is if you put a filter on your camera, you could even just use a piece of welder's glass. All of a sudden, you take that glare off, and the sun remains the exact same size all the time. The sun has never been recorded to change size ever.
Yeah,
the flat Earth movement was set out with an absolute asinine theory that easily any scientist could come in and debunk it and make the whole entire movement look retarded. You can literally measure the size of the sun all the time if you use the right photography equipment.
Well, it was roughly 4 years ago, or 3.5 or something, that we exposed that what David Weiss is using and what he's going to use here is time-lapse photography. So it's auto exposure during time-lapse photography that shows a sun with more glare when it's up high and it's bright, and then all of a sudden you can just see the actual disk of it as it gets smaller. Now, that's a result of time-lapse photography and auto exposure.
He's done a time-lapse photography, and then they've pasted a layer underneath it where the sun had already set, and they've erased the sky. And you could tell, you know how I can tell you guys? If anyone had any brains in their head and they were in this movement for like 8 years, you would know that the exact same setup that you see with the moon is in this shot. The vanishing point isn't even miles away. It's hundreds of feet. They used a spot where they had a hill in the shot. They were camera angled down so that they could have more area to blend the sky scene into the floor scene. So everything that you see from dirty deep inside David rabbit hole, you'll see nothing but disinformation, because these secret societies, all they swore an oath to was to lie, because they believe if they hold the power, they'll have if you don't understand your worldview, if you're believing lies, you don't have the power of truth with you. And that's what they swear secret society, they swear oaths to the death. Again, the picture that we're looking at is absolute lies. I told David that 6 years ago. I debunked the entire thing, and again, I'm still here doing it today.
Well, this scene looks like absolute CGI. Absolute. The whole thing. Everything about it. Watch.
Explained it. They used a shot, pointed it down at the hill, and then they blended the sky shot in, and they used the horizon as a layer. You guys understand they did the same thing on the moon. This is David Weiss, a flat earther, using fake moon tactics against the own flat earthers, and Rob Skiba sharing it. And people, this was a Moses character? Really?
The Chicago skyline, it's the same technique.
Exact same technique with the horizon.
Because everybody's seen the sun disappear like that, right? That's how the sun goes down.
No one has ever seen that in their fucking life. Making me curse, making me swear. It's retarded and asinine. The only way you could even close, look at it, it's pitch black right here in this picture. If someone doesn't have any eyes in their head, if you guys can't see what they're promoting, this is absolute lies. Look at this. No one has ever seen a sky like that in their entire life, ever. Never.
And so people
go out, prove me wrong, you guys. Sorry, Jason. Just look at a sunset any single day of your life. Go out and look at it. You can literally, when it's 10 degrees in the sky, you can look at it. It's not bright anymore. That's the spot where time-lapse photography, then you get the actual true size of the sun. When it's up in the sky, it's brighter. It's brighter, and it blows out the image. It distorts it. And then when it gets in focus, it's out of focus in the sky. Setting it gets into focus. Jason, you've completely taught this. You've shown everybody this. I don't understand why we're still here 8 years later, and I bet you there's millions of people that follow this and think it's real.
Yeah, so Rob Skiba, the verified YouTube channel with 211,000 subscribers. YouTube stands behind Rob Skiba. They verified him. Here's what he had to say. Here's what he had to say about it. Here's a shorter, though in some ways a bit more elaborate version of my recent atmospheric magnification and refraction experiments, showing how it is quite easy for the sun and moon to rise and set over the flat Earth model. In this video, I show you 2 views of my experiments so that you can see I'm not faking it somehow. Also, you may wish to take note of the last clip of the sun showing what happens when there is less moisture in the air. So he's saying that this is all taking place because the reason they were able to see Chicago across Lake Michigan was because of the amount of moisture. Now, other people aren't that stupid. So this is how he...
Wait. I got to hold you up again. I'm sorry to interrupt you, brother. This is the night where this is going to happen. He's literally using globe earth proof to prove his fake flat earth model. It's the exact thing I'm trying to tell you guys. They went from one lie and they brought you another one. They're not going to give you the truth, especially not verified people that are on the Prophecy Club that have all this disinformation, who just happens to be the one guy in the whole entire world that was an FE'er that Cerveza got him.
All right, so this guy says, plus the sun and moon don't get smaller at sunset and moonrise. They keep the same aspect even at midday. This would also cause days to be longer than nights all the time. On hotter days when the amount of evaporation is higher, the refraction should be different. The sun would either set faster or the horizon be shorter. On top of that, sunrise and sunset would be different every day and locations. Warmer countries would have shorter days and torrid temperatures. Remember the sun getting bigger at midday? No. And then, so this is the important part of it. I understand that you're trying really hard to try and fit your speculations to reality, but 1 bazillion micro lenses, he's talking about the atmospheric water that he made such a big deal about, doesn't make a giant lens. It makes fog. Right? The more moisture in the air, the foggier it is. And guess what? You don't see farther when there's fog. You see less distance. So it's absolutely absurd. And remember that this is from his TV show series, Testing the Globe. This is part of a TV show series. So in every single sort of way, he's been a disinformation agent. In every single way. I'm trying to think what other tabs we might want to go through. There's one more that jumps into my mind. He warns people. Let's find where this one is. He warns people about wolves in sheep's clothing. And that's been part of the topic tonight. Let's see what he has to say about the wolves in sheep's clothing. The enemy within. Let's see if he gives us any clues. Where is that
There's
one?
more. There's more. We could debunk the Chicago skyline. When we look at Jonathan
we've got
Nowitzki's own evidence.
We've got that
But
one.
I want to take a screen share before you do that.
Okay. All right.
There's so much. We could go all night. What do you mean?
Yeah,
This
let's
guy
go all
just did
night.
nothing but spew disinformation. That's all he did.
So I think this is, let me see here. I think it's pretty easy where I just stop the screen share, you take it.
Okay.
And then I should be able to bring you back in pretty quick and easy.
So I'm going to be talking about the covenant law keepers. Okay. The people that want to talk about Moses. You want to bring Moses, which was an amazing man. Moses had a shining face like the sun when he came down off the mountain, right? Moses was a beautiful man. He fought for the people. Take me out of the book, right? Don't kill my people. Moses loved his people, and they just did nothing but just, you all know, you've all read it. But look here, we got here in the Old Testament from Exodus 4:13. Let's heed these words. Anyone that proclaims to follow the law because they love the Father, they follow the law, and you follow Moses, who was instructed the law. Let's see what Moses says. It says, now go, I will help you as you speak, and I will teach you what to say. But Moses replied, please, Yahweh, send someone else. Then the anger of Yahweh burned against Moses. And he said, is not Aaron the Levite your brother? I know that he can speak well, and he is now on his way to meet you. That's not it's the wrong scripture. But I go on to here. I can find that scripture later. This is where we get, do not think that I will accuse you before the Father. Your accuser is Moses. So anyone that proclaims to be a Torah keeper, I read the wrong scripture, I'm sorry, in whom you have put your hope, right? These are all the people that come to me and they follow the laws. They follow everything that Moses says. It says, if you had believed Moses, you would believe Yahawashi because he wrote about him, right? But since you do not believe what he wrote, then how will you believe what he said, right? You guys have to understand Yahweh came down and met with the people, right? And they were so terrified because they were wicked. They had wicked hearts. We were growing. We were learning as a group of people. We were like growing up as a tree. We were very young as a race, the race of Adam. We were young. And he told Moses, tell the people this: I will send to you a Messiah through the line of Judah, and listen to him every word that he tells you. He's going to be greater than you, Yahweh said to Moses. And Moses told the people, Yahawashi said, if you loved Moses, you will love me, because Yahawashi freed the people. You guys don't understand. The law was a curse, right? The law was likened under the tree that we ate the fruit of. That's why Yahawashi hung on that tree. That was the releasing of the curse, right? And it's so important because these Torah observant people, and you'll see it time and time again, they whittle their way in, and then it's back to the only 5 books of Moses. Yet Yahawashi was telling them, Moses wrote about me. He told them, Moses said specifically, do everything that Yahawashi tells you, right? Because it was a curse. It was a curse. It was a curse. The law was a curse. For as many are of the works of the law are under the curse, right? I just want people to understand you don't have to be under that curse. If you want to honor the Father, Yahweh, and you want to follow the commandments the best that you can, I say do it. But people really need to understand that there's so many snakes in this movement. You have guys like this that were on Rob's show. This guy right here, Justin Best and Just. Go and listen to his videos. Him and his wife talking about how they went to psychologists, and he's 99% smarter than everyone else. And he's then telling you that the scriptures are a lie. They're metaphors. They weren't real. It didn't happen, he says. Although I can take you to Mount Sinai and show you it burnt all over the top of it. I can show you the basalt and the gypsum that's left from the fire that rained down on Sodom and Gomorrah. I can show you the oldest tree, Methuselah, dating back 4,500 years. Exactly when the time of the flood ended. The oldest tree. I can show you so many pieces of truth. Yet this guy, because he was a Torah observant, he ran Torah classes. They had Torah this, Torah that. That's the Adam Fink. Torah. Then all of a sudden he says, you don't need Yahawashi for salvation. And if anybody understands, the bread and wine had been passed down from Adam to Abraham, all the way down Melchizedek. They all celebrated the bread and wine. David, when Saul was going to come and get David was sent to Saul with bread and wine, because the true covenant, the release of the sin from falling under the curse of the tree, the garden, was the bread and wine victory meal that Yahawashi did. He said, take this wine, it is my blood, and this bread, as it is my body, the word. And we were all healed from that. But yet you have these guys here, they want you to think you got to do this to love the Father. Yahawashi said, I'll sum up all of Moses' laws in 2. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, and most importantly, love Yahweh. Those were the 2 laws. And he said, everything I can see a man on will hang upon those 2 commandments. It didn't mean you couldn't work on a Sabbath. Yahawashi was telling them, if your animal falls in a pit on a Sabbath, are you not going to release him? Are you going to let him die because you think it's a law that you can't? The people's hearts had no idea that the way that we live, the way that we love is the way that we show people. And love doesn't have to be coming to you as an angel of light. Love can be, hey, stop eating that, exercise, don't go on that highway. Discipline is love. Discipline is love. If you read the Old Testament, you should know that the Father, he was all about discipline. That's what he loved. And you can show him that you love him through discipline too. But you guys just have to be super careful. This whole idealization of Rob, his whole movement, all of this stuff here is being used by a group of wicked fallen angels to try to lead people off their path to destruction. That doesn't mean you can't follow the dietary laws. You can honor the Father that way, but you've got to watch, because little bit by little bit, they take you away from the truth. And that's the most important message of all tonight, besides the message of salvation. Yahawashi redeemed us from the law. We had salvation now, and you guys can accept it, or you can follow Rob and Justin Best and the fruit of these types of characters. Like I said, Justin Best, he was best friends with Adam. They were brothers, like Jason and I. Jason and I have been working together since the day we met online in 2016, November. We've been working together, and Yahweh hath kept us the most consistent people on YouTube. We have thousands of videos, and we stand as a testament and a witness to the truth in the face of the liars, the deceivers, all the verified people, all the Satanists, all the Freemasons. We have absolutely smashed every single lie they've ever promoted. We've shown you the true evidence. Jason's documented it, verified it. We've repeated it, and we will repeat it till the day we're gone.
Amen. Want to kill the screen share And ooh, I'm starting to get better at this. So we're back at Rob Skiba's YouTube page, and I knew what I was looking
Spoke
for.
too soon. I can't see. I'm sorry.
Nope. I just have to share
I'm the
it
only
with you.
one who gets to troll you at all, right? And really, it's not going to be long before our podcast. Jason's
The
improving.
audience got to see it. You didn't get to see it.
Jason's improving. I know that. Jason's improving on what we had created. Everybody, if you're tuning in right now, Jason's the one running the podcast. You know, I wanted to let people know that I'm usually the guy running it. That's why I keep, ranting. But these rants are so important to me.
All right. So we want to. This is Rob Skiba. Why we need to know our enemy. All right. This is his words.
I joined the military right out of high school. I was 18, just got out of high school, a week out of high school, went to basic training, went to boot camp, and eventually learned how to fly helicopters, and was a helicopter pilot for 6 of the 8 years that I was in the military. Well, anybody that joins the service, I was in the first of the 110th Air Cav from 1986 to 1993.
Now, I just want to point out that at the top of this slide, it says the Mount Herman Roswell connection. I didn't hear him talk about that at all, but the Mount Herman Roswell connection. We know what Mount Herman is. We know what Roswell is.
Anybody that joins the service will find that they go through this thing called boot camp. And that's basically 8 weeks of trauma-based mind control. It is. I mean, there's no other way to put it. But you will have what they call the Common Soldier's Task Manual when you go through. And in those 8 weeks, you're going to learn some basic common soldier tasks that everybody has to know. Everybody has to know the same things. You're going to learn about your chain of command. Who do you take your orders from? Who do you answer to? All the way up to the president. You'll have to know your common tasks. Everybody has to know how to, set up a tent and you dig a latrine and things like that. You'll have to know your equipment. They used to say you have to be smarter than the equipment you're operating. So, like, if you're going to be a truck driver, you got to be smarter than a truck, You have to know your weapons inside and out. You have to get to where you can take your M16 apart, blindfold it, and put it back together again. And you have to know your weapons inside and out.
So he's a soldier, but now he's going to take it to knowing your enemy. I think he's.
You have to know your military's tactics. How does your military function? What are the types of things that your military, how does your military operate in the field? You learn those things in 8 weeks, and you'll spend a little bit more time learning that throughout your military career. But for the most part, after you've learned all the stuff about your military, you spend the rest of your time learning about the enemy. You have to know your enemy.
You have to know
If
your
you're,
enemy.
if you're going to be able to wage an effective...
So he put out this this video about knowing your enemy. Now let's jump to the end of it. Now we're hearing about the fallen angels. Let's see what he's got to say about fallen angels.
We had a good conversation about that, but what that showed me was that myself and very few people were prepared if that was a real event. If that was a real world scenario, most of those people would have gotten totally wasted, just like the teacher in Red Dawn. Okay? A few of us had taken the time to know our enemy. All right, when it comes to spiritual things, we have an enemy, don't we? Yeah, we see in Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's our enemy. But how many of us are equipped to know how to fight that? How many churches are equipping you to understand how the enemy works? How many of you have ever read the book, The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis? Where was the demon's preferred place to hang out?
Ooh.
In the church.
In the church.
Huh, that's interesting. Because we see in 2 Corinthians 11, 14 through 15.
Did you hear the snickers from the people in the audience?
And no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. It is not surprising then if his servants also masquerade as servants of righteousness. If you haven't read the Screwtape Letters, I suggest that you do. Because it's going to help you understand how the enemy works.
How the enemy works. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I did find that one scripture. At some point, I'd like to go into that.
Sure.
And where the enemy likes to set up shop. Some of you had already said that you read it. The enemy loves to set up shop in the church. Well, he also loves to set up shop in your home. All right? We've got to know our enemy. Now, first, what did we do in basic training? We got to know our own stuff first, right? You got to know your own stuff first. I've heard the acronym Bible is Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth, okay? This is our Common Soldier's Task Manual, okay? Get to know this, get to understand this. But then
Good advice. So Rob points out that he was a military soldier. He points out that the enemy masquerades as angels of light, that they infiltrate the church, and he says, know your enemy. So I'm going to stop the share, and you can share, brother.
Okay, that was quick. Yeah, I used the wrong scripture, and to me, the most important thing that I ever do is scripture. It's scripture. And I don't tell you to not, it doesn't say that. It means this. I will never tell you that. I will tell you what the words say. And then sometimes I might speculate, and I will tell you I'm speculating. But it says here in Deuteronomy 18:15, the Elohim, the Yahweh, your Elohim, will raise up for you a prophet like me from among your brothers. You must listen to him. This is what you asked of Yahweh, your Elohim, at Horeb on the day of the assembly, when you said, let us not hear the voice of Yahweh, our Elohim, or see the great fire anymore, so that he will not die. Right? So we can start to understand that this was Moses telling them, I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their brethren, the line of Judah, right? The offshoot of Jesse, the root of David, the lion of the tribe of Judah. His name was Yahawashi, and you can add Yahawashi in front of that. And it says, I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And it shall be that whoever will not hear my words, which he speaks in Yahweh's name, I want to point this out right here. Anybody that comes to me and doesn't have the key to this code, Yahweh and Yahawashi contain the exact same name. Same name, not Yahweh and Yeshua or Yahushua and Yahuwah. No, Yahweh and Yahawashi are the names that we found. And you know what? It was a Hebrew Israelite that did the research that we went and back checked, and it was right. Right? It says if you don't listen to the words that he will speak in Yahweh's name, because Yahweh means he exists, and Yahawashi means he exists, deliverance or salvation. I will require it of him. You'll be destroyed. He's saying here, this is a bad transliteration. If you don't listen to the one that I'm going to send, because they were afraid. I told you the people were trembling. The power of Yahweh coming down upon that mountain must have been something that none of us have ever even had a glimpse of imagination as to wonder what that would have been like. They were terrified. They knew that they weren't right, that their flesh sinned, and they weren't ready. And Moses told everybody, this is what Yahweh had to say. He will raise up a prophet like me from among you, and he will put his words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that the Father commands. And it shall be whoever does not hear the words of Yahawashi in his name, Yahawashi, it's required, or you die. You die. And then when they were arguing with Yahawashi, whether or not that he was the right man or he was the Messiah, he literally said, if you had believed Moses, you would believe me, because he wrote about me. But since you did not believe what he wrote, how will you believe what I say? And I'm showing you people that anyone that wants to follow Moses was way under this man, Yahawashi. He paved the way for salvation. Now, Moses was an amazing man. He will be heralded as one of the greatest characters in the game. He really was. He did amazing things. But what you need to understand here is Moses said, listen ye to him. Yahweh told Moses, if you don't listen to Yahawashi, you're done. There's no salvation for you. But that's it for me. And if anybody wants to come in here and try to debunk me on this, if you think that Moses is greater than Yahawashi, you're wrong. And also, if you don't think that Moses is a good enough character, we can look at David. How is it that David was prophesied in the Old Testament that the sonship of David, that was son of David, is the Messiah, yet David called the Messiah his Lord. right? So there's so many different things that not anybody can really understand. And if you don't listen to what Moses said, if you're following the law, you better listen to what Moses said. He said, the one that I'm going to send later is going to speak all of the words, not just some. Yahawashi spoke all of the words that his father told him. He did everything that he was asked.
You want to stop your share? And I will share with you. And so maybe just two more quick things to go through. This is the Take on the World Conference 2021. This is what the news articles are saying Rob Skiba was traveling home from when he took ill. So let's look at this. The thumbnail, it's Rob Skiba. This was 3 months ago. See what's going on
No
here.
sound. No sound. Oh, I think there's sound now. I see it. Someone was saying there was no sound, but I see sound.
I'm feeling like I'm ready to take on the world. I'm ready. I'm feeling like I'm ready to take on the world. I'm ready to.
No, I just want to go through here a little bit slower. There, that's what I wanted to catch. So at this convention 3 months ago was Rick Hummer, Rollin' Ready, the guy that we've been saying, this guy got to do a skit with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Right, these are the guys that get news coverage. Rick Hummer is in the news. Rob Skiba is in the news. They get that type of coverage. And this took place, and then this is a hangout that we did back in 2017. This is from June 26, 2017. Rob Skiba, Friend of Yahweh, Jeranism, IPS, Flat Earth, Liars, End Times, Protest, Billboard, Research. And so in this hangout, we even had Rosette around at this time. We go through a whole bunch of the Rob Skiba disinfo. So I was thinking I would just play some of this, and you can stop me whenever you want, brother.
He showed a top view. Have you seen it, Jason?
No, I haven't.
So yeah, he had a big production here. Let's listen to it for a minute. Let's see what he's.
Cameraman, know what you're doing.
3 degrees. Okay, we should be good.
We're holding at 6.
Cameras, get ready. If you're not already recording.
5, 100%, 4, 3, 2, 1.
See how fast it goes.
Oh, man.
I think. Oh, she's cruising. That's way faster than last time.
Dubai. Jeranism collaborator.
Wow. I'm going to have to grab the other camera already.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 1000th balloon launch from the flat Earth. And we're looking at the view from the top camera only.
That's right. You get anything done, huh? Do that thing is moving.
Off and rolling.
Cool.
That should be good.
Okay, so now I want to draw your attention to that was it. Let's scroll through here. We got this guy here walking around.
We just sent the balloon up, and I have no idea how high up, but this is the location where we.
So they launch the balloon. They show us that little footage. They bring it back on. We see only we don't see the Earth.
As soon as you walk away,
oh, the gimbal.
You're gonna have to stand there, and hold your left arm up.
Yeah.
They got a camera and a mic on this thing. Where's the footage of the Earth? This is flat Earth. Well, and they got a.
Do you see who we have here? This is the team. Rob Skiba, Rick Hummer. Over and over, they did the Chicago skyline. They did this balloon thing. They were together at that Bible conference when Rob took ill. So brothers together for everything, I guess.
Globe, testing the globe. Now,
This-
okay, yeah, let's all let's pat each other on the
Yeah,
back.
it's on the way home for me.
So, congratulations.
Eva month.
Hey, it's my birth
It
month.
is your birth. It's your
my
birth
birth
month.
month. I gotta do cool stuff on my birth month.
This is a big
And we're right down the road
celebration.
from Cedar Point, dude.
Happy birth month, Mr. Skiba. Praise Yahweh, right?
Where we did
It's
our
the roller coaster capital of the world.
Oh, wow.
Okay, where's the footage of the flat Earth? I really want to know, guys. Where is it? It's not in this one. Let's go
This
back. Here's
this
another
right
one.
here is a foreshadowing for the
yeah.
popular flat Earth convention. Just a
Okay,
whole
let's-
bunch of nothing.
Here's this other most recent under 2 hour podcast about the balloon launch. Right? Are we going to see the flat Earth, guys? Where's the Earth?
So does anyone ask him, where is it? Where's the footage?
No.
And he
look,
never mentions it.
No. Well, they're discussing the launch and going over all the gadgets and toys and how the Earth is flat, and he goes into his biblical. And Jason, this is the other thing. He keeps going on about how the circle of the Earth can be translated into all languages. That scripture.
What?
Do you know what that scripture means?
Yeah, well, it's supposed to say circuit, like the rest of the scriptures. You've got that one off right there, and it's a mistranslation. It's circuit. Everything else says circuit. Enoch says circuit. The rest of the extra canonical scriptures say circuit.
And it's the closest reference in the Strong's Concordance is a reference to a festival time. Okay, so
Can I
the
pause?
sun and the moon return.
So what I was explaining there is when we get that word that they use for circle, you find it constantly used, and it's used in the place where you would call something a circuit. So the fact that the sun travels in between the tropics, when it does one pass back and forth, that's one circuit. It's not doing a circle. It's a circuit. So the festivals that we were commanded to keep, like tabernacles and Passover, they come and go in a year. It's not a circle. It's a circuit, right? It's the same. You could have a circuit in the Roman times. It would have been like a longer oblong kind of oval shape. You can have a circuit in a straight line, right? You go to one end of the straight line and you come back. That's a circuit. It's not an oval. It's not a circle, right? They're Freemasonic dogma, and they're trying to overimpose lies. So the other thing that I want to point out here is what's called ad hoc theories. So everything that's wrong with the ball earth, there's no curvature, they have to come up with what's called an ad hoc theory, where they try to come up with some sort of a magical experiment where they say, well, this is why. But if you actually investigate each ad hoc theory, it just falls on its face, right? Like the sun, the moon, the globe earth having 4 different directions of movement. It's an ad hoc theory. Then they go on to say, well, because of relativity, nothing moves, or everything moves relative to everything is your ad hoc. So everything that you're seeing that the flat earth movers do is ad hoc theories. And what they were just doing before, we didn't even really talk about, was everybody was doing like donation drives to launch balloons to show the flat earth. This one that they were heralding as a big success, they let off a balloon, and the video that they showed as evidence never showed the earth. It just showed sky. It was just sky. That's all we saw. And that was their proof. We didn't even look at we did look at the horizon one, but I'll let you continue.
The same way that the festivals do, in a circuit, not a circle. Right? And Mr. Skiba is supposed to be a theological expert. Am I yelling? I'm sorry.
It's a little bit.
He's an expert. He's out here preaching that he is a messenger with truth, and here's what they show.
It's rubbish. It's just a pile of rubbish.
Mm-hmm. So what was the whole point of the balloon launch?
Well, to prove flat Earth, testing the globe.
So I mean, if that was it, and they didn't even show the Earth, and no one said anything, then what did they talk about? what did they talk about?
Yeah, just hours of
I mean,
blah,
I don't
blah.
understand.
We found out that it's his birth month, and there's like a roller coaster park nearby.
So everything but what it was supposed to be for.
A scientist without a degree. He could have said, Could have said Satanist, maybe. Might have been closer.
Yeah.
Sorry. But so you guys see what I'm seeing here, right? That this, I don't know what happened to my Zoom. This is like Rob's the best. Prove the Earth is flat. Where was the Earth? Stationary Earth. Where did this guy see that the Earth was stationary? We were looking at a sky of nothingness. Do you want me to go back through it, guys? I don't think I have enough time in this day. There is no Earth in any of these pictures. Look, even in the thumbnails. Oh, there's a picture of Earth. This is the one we were just at. Guess what? There's no footage of the Earth in this. Let's hear what he's saying here.
Increments of 10 and 100, you always end up with the 66666. So what I kept seeing was bonking him on the head in 1666. The Earth is supposedly...
I find that so funny that as soon as you clip into it, he's just immediately with the 666s. That's you just bounced into the video and right there is 666.
at a 23.4 degree tilt. Well, this is a 90-degree angle. Just about.
I don't even want to listen to it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, we get him talking about 666 and the Earth is angle. This is the ecliptical path is supposedly tilted at 23.4 degrees because it equals 6.666, right? The diversion.
Uh-huh.
So everybody, I'm just going to say this one more time. Great job, Mr. 666. Not showing the flat Earth.
Providing us with nothing.
Zero. Zilch.
Can I get a
Nada.
pause? Can I get a
let's
screen
keep
share?
this going.
Yeah.
I want a screen share. I got something to show everybody.
Okay.
Hold it from the vault. This is going to be pertaining to Dick Hummer, Skiba's companion.
You're not going to take away from our ending song, are you?
No, I'm giving verified evidence to go with it because I don't know
Gotcha.
how much longer. That was the last points that I wanted to make. You let me know when I'm presented.
You're presented.
So this was a podcast. This was Patricia Steer and Nicole Cote, right? I was also on this podcast too. What happened was, so this character, Roland Reddy, that Dick Hummer created, right? He was going around mocking people, mocking Flat Earth, and he actually got an interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson. So here we have the Flat Earth Pope, self-declared by the community of fake Flat Earthers, Robbie Davidson. You see, this is him right here in the chat.
Just a second. I gotta move it so that people can see that. All right, I'll make this a little bit smaller so that.
Because I'm about documenting everything, you guys.
Mhm.
That's what we do, right? If you don't have timestamps and evidence, what do you have? If you stand before the Father and he asks you, what have you done for me? You don't have any timestamps. You don't have any evidence. You say, I don't know you. When was the last time you prayed for me or repented? Am I screen sharing?
Yep.
So this is Patricia Steer. This is the podcast. It's got the date there. I don't show it, but what you'll notice over here is Robbie Davidson doing damage control. He says, Roland Reddy is a character for a show, nothing more. I'm sure Rick will be able to tell the entire story very soon. Nothing nefarious about it, because there was also a video, I believe, where he was mocking the name Jesus. So this was really deep, and it was Infinite Plane Society, IPS, the character with the penguin, Pepe character, was the one who got an interview with Roland Reddy, Rick Hummer, and questioned about all this and held him down, basically admitting that Rick is a Freemasonic Society member and that the skit was all his creation, right? And really what it was, he was mocking flat earthers. He was being a retarded redneck character who was mocking the guy that that IPS was following, was Mad Mike. And this Mad Mike was the actual redneck rocket guy who built a rocket. And then Roland Reddy was trying to mock him. And he actually got on with Neil deGrasse Tyson. So this is how bad the community, I don't think Robbie's a Torah follower. He talked more about Christianity. I'll say that. And Robbie's gone. Robbie's been gone for a long time. He bowed out. He's long gone. But here he was doing damage control for Roland Reddy, for this character. Do I have him here? I thought I had him. I seen him in the thumbnail. don't know how I had him in the thumbnail, but he's not there.
You'd be appalled. That.
Oh yeah,
You
I
know,
just
any
really wanted to
sort of
show
thing.
people that.
Boy, I wonder if Mom would be proud of me.
It's still playing.
That I'm a flat earther.
Her video is still playing.
Discuss flat Earth with either my mother or my father. Did you discuss
Patricia Steer. Nobody's really heard her voice in a long time, huh? She was doing stuff on narcissism, right? Remember?
Yeah, that didn't last long.
Here, I'll show you the picture. I figured out how to get to it. Here he is. There's the character that is Rob Skiba's best friend. And this is the guy that actually got on TV, was able to interview Neil deGrasse Tyson. This is the guy. This is Rob's best friend. And go figure, multiple times in all the meetups, he fake cried in one of the conferences. We've documented all this. We have all this on our channel. Like I said, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos documenting all this. He actually got up there and said that he didn't want anyone to fight anymore about the ball earth, flat earth. He said it was retarded. He said it was stupid. This is all documented. Everything that this guy did. He faked some book that he said he wrote, The Earth was flat, when he was like 6. And while he's telling this, it was a thunderstorm and he was acting like it was a sign of God. This guy here has been an absolute stain on the truth. He had the most putrid attitude towards the truth movement. He's disgusting. And you know what? If you guys find IPS actually was the one who held him down and exposed that he was a Freemason. His channel was like Level Up, right? Like keep it on the level, which is an absolute Freemasonic term. He was the, what did they call him? The master of ceremonies. This, you're looking at Rob Skiba's master of ceremonies. And I tied it together. I showed you guys that he was working with Robbie Davidson, was the one who came in to do damage control, because this character, Roland Reddy, was being an asinine jerk and he was mocking people, right? Mocking them. And he thought it was funny because nobody could figure it out, because Roland Reddy actually looked like this other guy named Pete Santilli. Looked just like Pete. Everyone thought for sure it was Pete Santilli, but it was IPS who figured it out. And he went on and mocked Rick, literally mocked him and said, we know your channel Level Up is Freemasonic. Like all of it was completely exposed. So I just really want people to see the character behind Rick. So he caused such a commotion by being this fake, retarded, acting handicapped, right? While supposedly talking about flat Earth. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And not only that, but they're connected with this friend of Yahweh guy that's connected with Rob, who all have the media ties. They all have California media ties. They've made the, It's a Mirage. That was an absolute production. Right, they've done multiple one of these, and then they've nobody was able to come back with the It's a Mirage. I'm going to end the screen share. Nobody was able to come back and produce the actual commercial or the actual news segment where the It's a Mirage took place, because we looked for it. We had everyone go and search. It was never produced. It was a staged experiment. Everything that you guys see has led the way for Rob to catch the cerveza, right? Because he's an anti-juicer, to be labeled as a flat earth preacher on top of everything, with the false map, with a false gospel, with nothing but ties to the fallen angel. The rise of Babylon is what Rob's memory is going to be. These are the choices that this man made in his life. And if he's really gone and he didn't repent, I want everybody else that's watching tonight, if you're in this lineup, repent. Turn from your wicked ways now before you're destroyed. You do not follow the path to destruction. Come over to salvation. Get on your face and pray to through Yahawashai to the Father and ask for salvation, because these men are just going to lead you off into Nephilim Babylonian mysticism, and it's all absolute garbage. The fruit is putrid. His underlings, Adam and Justin, calling each other bitches on their channels. These are the 100,000 subscriber channels that are supposedly leading these huge communities of Torah following people and Christians, and they're calling each other bitches, and Rob is their inspiration, the great man that Adam Fink, parable of the fig tree, calls Moses. These are the people that you're going to follow into destruction if you don't turn from your wicked ways.
All right, so you're just about to get into Friend of Yahweh in this video here. Let's get into that.
I'm in a kick butt kind of mood. Yahweh.
Friend of Yahweh.
Just so happens to be the same word that Rob Skiba promotes, right? Look at all these channels that 4 hours ago, Friend of Yahweh sub to Flat Earth. A great title, by the way, to promote Flat Earth. It's the last word I'd want to be associated with. It's where your crap comes out of your body.
Yeah, that's a satanic word. That's what they use.
There you go. Look at this. Oh. This is also my icon.
Hold on,
Mark
pause.
Stoll. But I guess it wasn't mine. But
Rosette turned into an agent and said nasty things about Jason, and I false witness. She bared false witness against us, and we brought her in and gave her. I tried to give her everything I knew how to do and teach her. But anyways, what she just pointed out, because she is Rosette was one of the leading researchers into Satanism, into the theologians and all that other stuff. I don't even want to name it. I don't want to send anybody down that path. But she could spot all the Satanism through all of this. She was really good at that, right? I got to give her credit, although she did spread false witness against Jason and I.
Yeah, but it was concluded after a while that she was actually a Rosicrucian, and then she teamed up with ODD, and then she's pretty much dropped off of the face of the earth just to slander Ronnie and I a little bit recently.
But I used it 5 years ago. Look at this one. This one here is the most corrupt, co-opted CIA satanic agent in the Flat Earth movement, if you don't know Rosette and Jason.
Yeah, I do know that. Yeah, so yeah, this friend of Yahweh
just keep going.
Keeps company with Satanists.
Well, he's with the whole crew here, brother. Here, this is how ridiculous this is. Satan's team just put out this guy who's been out. We're going to get to him. But within the last 5 hours, they've all been pinned to this same thread. Like, are they handicapped? Are they showing us their cards?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all here. So let's get on to this guy. Let's see this.
Look at that list.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you sat me down and gave me a little time to think of who the worst characters in the Flat Earth are, that's the list.
And look at this image he has on the globe here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll just do one quick annotate, because this has to be... Why won't it let me annotate? Okay, it won't. Okay, well.
Old school Zoom, right? This is pre-OBS. We had to use that Zoom banner. We were bringing people on. I shared a Trolling for Truth video last night, Jason. I was teaching people how to make hundreds of YouTube accounts back in like 2017, 2018. And we were like teaching people how to sign up on Zoom way back then. To think that when the Cerveza bug thing hit, they just everybody was on Zoom, right? We were so far ahead of it. It's hilarious.
So,
Jason,
I'm going to skip through the Friend of Yahweh section here quick. And
he's gross. He's funny. And he is good to point out that he has the mainstream acting ties. He's a mainstream video producer, movie producer. He does commercials and news segments, right? This guy here. You guys can do your own research and find out what you want. But the name Yahweh is absolutely Yiddish, and they turned that into some sort of a Baphomet kind of character.
Yeah, Rosette knew that Yahweh was a satanic name, right? All right, so I'm going to jump ahead to this section.
Picture.
At least you got the word skeptic in there, right, guys?
You can see
No pun
entire
intended.
Chicago skyline all the way down to almost the shore of Chicago from the shores of Lake Michigan. Something I said was impossible, at least under normal conditions. This had to be a mirage or some sort of focusing by the
He
atmosphere.
does that, eh?
because there was
Yeah,
a
Rosette?
Yeah.
You know anything about neuro-linguistic programming? When he goes, a mirage, he's trying to like program your mind.
I thought Justin was the neuro-linguistic
See that?
programmer, right?
Yeah.
version that night. Thought it was pretty straightforward. Did a quick 30-second explainer on air and moved on with my weathercast. Well, email after email later. This is just a few of those emails. Facebook posts, comments. I was shocked to find out that there are a number of people that believe the Earth is still flat, and that to them, this is actually proof that the Earth is flat. One person just questioning me and asking me for a retraction of the articles and lies. A lot of people try and kind of be nice about it. Well, are you sure you did it right? And then they send me links that the Earth is flat. And some are just pretty straightforward about it. And they title replies calling me a deceiver and that I should check my degree or quit telling lies on television. It got me questioning a lot of things. Were my calculations right? I looked into it, I did research, and I thought, I've got to see this for myself. And so we climbed the dunes, and I'm really excited about our story that we're going to be doing coming up Thursday at 11, Skyline Skepticism, where We tell you, is this the mirage? Is it something else? What is the science behind this? And I also want to go over the science of why you can't see past the horizon or how far you can see.
Now look at this diagram.
Pretend that we're on
this
the
diagram, Jason. Can you tell me what we're looking at here for a second?
That's just a blurry image.
What?
What?
You can't see the screen? You don't see?
I guess I could. What was that? It was a Chicago skyline supposedly, but
Well, no, right now it's a diagram.
Oh yeah. Let's go ahead here.
We were looking at the curvature and the radius. Look how large the guy is on top of the sphere, right? They have to ad hoc all their diagrams because it's just asinine when they try to prove that you live on the top of a sphere, right? It's so retarded.
So you never have that spectacular view of the ocean that you would, like if you're on a mountain. If
And
you're
you would
on a
see
globe,
and you would see the
yeah.
curvature both straight ahead of you and to the sides. So
Yeah.
the shoreline would have to be curved as well, down away from you.
Everything in reality. And I know Jaron did his great deceiver's job and showed clips from this on his podcast. We already went through that, Jason and I, and ripped it apart. I'm just trying to find the footage where he's on the dunes, and it's unbelievable about this exact point that you guys are just talking about, right? Was it here? Yeah, this site is really bad. I should just go to his email, or is it right here? Skyline Skeptic, right? Out of nowhere. This channel didn't exist when I started my YouTube because I would have saw it. Right here. He even points. There's one clip. You guys can see how clear. There's your world famous Nowicki, right, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, unmasked live here on Rosette Delacroix's channel.
I just want to point out the camera that he's using here. They say in the articles it had like a 300 millimeter zoom lens, and that does look appropriate right there. 300 millimeters. Now the Nikon P1000 has a 3000 millimeter zoom to it. So the camera that we're using has 10 times more zoom than the camera that he used. Nobody can actually see Chicago from the Michigan side. 60 miles is too far. You can't see that far.
Yes, if the buildings were 3 times the height. So again, I explained earlier that you have a vantage point or a vanishing point. So objects that are taller, right, you can see them from further beyond the vanishing point because the tallest part of the building is what you'll last see cross your vanishing point as you move away. You can use the CN Tower. It's the best way to truly understand this, right? So not only does a camera only magnify what's in the circle of sight, you can't zoom something in beyond your vanishing point. This is how they were able to use the ball earth theory for so many years, because Robotham, who guys like Eric Dubay and Rob Skiba and all these different liars and disinformation agents try to go to, he was defeated. Robotham was defeated. They went to a lighthouse, and they went further away from the lighthouse, and they could see less and less of it. And therefore they said, this is the proof that we live on a ball. And then they also said, look how that ship hath sail out to the sea, and you can see less and less of it from the bottom up. This was how they proved, how they thought they proved that they lived on a ball. When Jason and I can take you into a long flat building, set our cell phone on the floor and walk away, and when we're at the other end of that flat building, you won't see the bottoms of our legs. They'll be cut off to our knees. This is what we brought to the world. Jason hired a model, went to a mall and filmed her, and it was an amazing thing. There was hoarding set up at the wall. I'm a carpenter. Hoarding is just a temporary wall that you set up. It had an angel wings on it. Does anybody see how beautiful the Father is? When you do things and search for truth, look at that. He got her to pose from the other end of the hallway, and she had angel wings on her. And as she walked away, you saw less and less of her legs. Her feet disappeared. Exactly the same way we see ships, horizons, and the lighthouse. This is how it's completely explained on a flat earth. This is the proof that we share, but we're silenced. Guys like Friend of Yahweh and Rob Skiba, who come out with disinformation campaigns that actually try to prove to you that you live on a sphere backhandedly while getting you to accept that it's atmosphere that makes the sun rise and set. It's just absolute garbage.
This is like flat.
He's a famous photographer.
Of that picture.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Right?
he's the guy. Okay.
Yeah, and I remember because I did a piece that covered this. Oh, it was when I was looking at the power of zoom lenses, and he says right in his Facebook post the focal length of his camera, and it was a fraction of what the P900 has.
That's incredible. A fraction.
Yeah.
How does that even... That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense at all.
No.
Well, and then, you know, you had the Rob Skiba video. I don't know if you want to pull up that link maybe and send it to me, Jason, if you know where it would be. Look at that shot. The link with the Aaron Dover video.
I'm not sure which one.
Aaron Dover did a video exposing the Jonathan Nowicki or the Rob Skiba.
Oh, yes, yes.
If you could find that. But
so here's that video. This is the Aaron Dover video. This is where that clip was. I took that from it.
Chicago skyline. Very interesting here. Here's what's happening. This is a good
like
example
a
of a
news
superior
piece.
mirage. So Joshua was on the Lake Michigan shore. He was looking towards the west, and Chicago's beyond the horizon. Should not be able to see it. However, with the right conditions.
Okay, so after I saw that and looking at that picture, I'm sorry, there's no way that's a mirage, and I couldn't accept that. My friend Rick Hummer couldn't accept that either. He said, we've all seen it. Anybody who lives in this area can look across the lake. We've all seen Chicago.
No, everybody has not seen Chicago.
You know what, Jason?
You know
I
what?
can attest to this because I live on Lake Ontario.
Lake Ontario.
And
I
you
was just
remember-
about to say this. Hang on. That was so weird, you guys. I'm going to tell you, that was like a super glitch in the Matrix. I said, hang on. I was saying the exact same thing. How long ago was this hangout? 2017. Listen, this is how steady fast the Father works, okay? I don't take credit for anything that I do. The Father hath given me every breath that I've ever taken in my entire life was a gift. I'll tell you right now, I live on Lake Ontario most of my life, like, 45 minutes north of it in the town of Aurora. When I would go with my camera and I would try to zoom across 40 miles with a more powerful zoom, I had a Sony zoom with, I think it was 64 magnification. And I can't remember the exact focal length, but even on the very, 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 very best optimal day for conditions, you still couldn't see the other side. It was only 40 miles, right? So I just really want people to understand. You can look for pictures of the CN Tower from the United States, from Niagara Falls. If you do that research, you'll see the distance that you can see, that because the CN Tower is so tall, it's 1,800 and something feet. So you'll have the largest circle of sight to that tower. But everything that they're sharing here is absolute asinine. And I can testify to it because I actually went out and did the physical measurements with my own camera. I did it. Ronnie Shine did it. I did it. I want you guys to do it so that you can tell that Rob is a liar. Maybe somebody here is close to Michigan. Isn't Joseph Bender? Joseph, are you not in Detroit? Is there no way that anybody can verify and show it? We did the research, Jason. We even found the location where the original picture, it was 30 miles.
30 miles, and it was shot from the southern shore looking northwest.
We even went and found the spot where this could have been taken from. It was nowhere near 60 miles away.
30 miles.
Which I can attest
when
to.
I got
You
my
can
camera,
see 30 miles.
I was gonna go. I set out to prove flat Earth. I had 3 points picked, going from 10 miles to 80 miles. And as soon as you get past 10 miles, ladies and gentlemen, it turns to pixels. So across the lake, all you can ever see is a haze.
Mm-hmm.
There's no. My camera has 62 times. It's just below the P900.
62, not 60.
Yeah, this is.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, are there any like tall hills or mountains or anything across from Chicago that people can go up on, or no?
Michigan.
What said he was at the dunes?
Well, there's the dunes on the Michigan shore, and they probably got 100, 200 feet of elevation along the shoreline where you would have a clear view, off of those dunes over towards Chicago. But 60 miles over that water, you're not going to be seeing those buildings looking like that.
They're not within your field of view.
Yeah, it's still too short.
The field of view don't intersect.
Right.
And the problem is also is that I'm trying to, okay, so zooming cameras, right? Let me get this right. I'm going to ask the expert, Jason, because you've done so great expertise on when we're zooming in, we're magnifying what we visually see. We're not sending our camera lens over a curve around a corner.
Well, that's a great point that's been brought out by Flat Earth Photography. And, we talk of Zoom,
pause again?
But
I know we've gotten so far away from Rob, but we are exposing the disinformation that Rob used to psyop people, only to have the rug pulled out so that you go back to the sphere Earth. That was the whole plan, the whole way through. We see it every day. The truth behind what we're explaining here, with you having a distance that you can see to, it absolutely annihilates the heliocentric model, because they try to tell people that they can see to the outer reaches of the universe, right? Trillions upon trillions of light years, right? You guys have no idea, if you try to do the math, at how far they actually try to propose that they can see, when we know from all observations, repeatable experiments, that you can only zoom in things between 10 and 50 miles away, tops. Everything else just deteriorates on the ground. That's it.
And we're now just seconds away. Remember, this is a Aaron Dover video. This isn't something we made. This was Aaron Dover. This is the no floors guy, a number of other things. He's pretty crazy, but he decided to
tiny header.
He decided to go after Rob Skiba for this fake footage, and it's just about to get going here. All we ever really do is just magnify, because if something is not visible anymore, you can't zoom into it and make it reappear. So we've got to do some double checking on these, bringing boats back into view. They must be boats that were still in view, that were just magnified.
Yeah.
Because once they're out of view, there's no level of magnification that will bring them back into view, and that has nothing to do with curvature.
And that has all to do with perspective. And our video that we started this episode off completely disproves that entire. The higher you are in altitude, the further you can see. That's it.
Yeah.
So
that's how you enlarge your circle of sight.
Now that we know that this is all fake, it's amazing to see the circuit that it's made coming back to Skiba.
And he and I put together a plan.
Oh.
Yeah, their lies are
a plan, eh?
It's me ringing the bell back in 2017 too.
Their lies are being revealed over and over. Ding, 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 ding. Over and over.
I hit the bell there.
Fast. We had one really today come on 200
Look at this.
Oh yeah, point it out.
Sorry, Rick. Look like
there, over there.
Right now with
lean forward. You're closer now.
You know, what are you doing? Long way in first, and then trying to.
And no tripod, please.
Right.
On a moving boat.
Yeah. You just got to point over
Maybe
there.
you should film the star trails from the boat too.
Okay. You want to set out?
That I could probably see the CN Tower, but I don't know about that on Michigan. 37 is like the limit on CN Tower, which is 1,200 or 1,400 feet.
It's 1,800. Might be 14.
There's nothing in Chicago that even close to that.
Right here, he's truncated the horizon.
CGI footage.
But if the field of view at the top of the Chicago Tower was high enough, it would reach your view.
If you were on the tower filming back this direction, but
this is proof. Fair. That's his
above the
flat Earth
water.
proof right there.
You have to be within the fourth mark.
Yeah.
See the top of the towers in Chicago.
I'm explaining perspective there.
That it's simple. Right?
Here's the proof. We live on a flat Earth. Here's the proof.
They were on a boat. You know, they didn't think to stop the boat, right? And then they were traveling at a fast distance. Yeah, Mount Rainier is something that you can see from far away, but you definitely can't see the big base of it unless you're in a higher elevation.
To keep it, but you don't even need to zoom in. I mean, it's right there.
Okay, pause it. What Rob has done here is he's clipped the horizon. He's cut out the sky where the water line is, and he's put in he was closer to the city, and he took a picture, and he's shrunken. He's dragged the picture down. There's a mask frame. So in 9/11, they had a mask frame that actually didn't cover the wrong side of the tower, and you've seen the nose of the building pass through the frame. So Rob actually has the mask frame correct here, right? The water line is one frame, and the horizon is another one, and he's just sunk the buildings down. That's all he's done here. It's absolute nonsense.
And it's with footage that he went and captured close, and then he added a mask layer over the top to add this fog to it.
Haze.
27 miles, yeah.
So how...
You know, this all reminds me of I gotta
To keep it, but you don't even need to zoom in. I mean, it's right there.
I was just saying, this reminds me of how to do the Kauai footage.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. I'm gonna have to do that here soon.
Yeah.
See what we
The
get.
water looks really twisted.
So I think Kauai was like 60 miles away or something, wasn't it? I think it is from me.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be similar. I won't be above.
Never filmed it either. Kauai from her island. She never filmed it. This is great.
Oh, so Kauai from Oahu is 108 miles distance. So remember that video we saw? Like, there's no way.
Well, yeah, it's another fake flat Earth channel promoting lies.
Yeah.
We don't need those lies to prove that the Earth is flat.
Actually, absolutely, still stands true today, Jason. Wise words. Look at this. Zooming in on a photograph, ladies and gentlemen. That is not real. And Aaron called it out. Bless him for that. Glory to the Father.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know.
We were about 8 nautical miles off the coast of Chicago there, and didn't really see any need to go any further. We saw everything we needed to see, and we were running kind of late, needed to get back, and actually running a little bit low on fuel too. So I said, yep, just head back. I'm going to set up some cameras.
They always got to come up with these asinine stories. We're low
point
on
them at
fuel.
the city so we could watch it the whole way back and show
They couldn't
everybody
slow down,
that
though. They had to speed
it's not a
through all their
mirage.
photography. Not a mirage.
That's the proof.
Steve, let it run.
You know,
Show that
if he
again.
was-
I'll stop
if
talking.
he was that close to the buildings, he would go a little closer. You wouldn't just turn around right there, You would go a little closer where you could actually make it out. If it was true.
Yeah, you would go have lunch at...
Yeah, you would go. You wouldn't turn around. Oh, we're low on gas.
So bad. So bad. And, yeah, so we've been covering Rob Skiba for a very long time because he's been the leading disinformation producer for the fake flat Earth from the supposedly Christian side. So he came up with the Yahweh's terrarium. He came up with a balloon launch that did nothing. He produced this It's a Mirage piece. He's on IMDb where he's created the most ridiculous fake evidence for the possibility of a circling sun. Now, I can't even tell you how many times I've debunked to fake flat earthers the circling sun, and then they want to send me a link to Rob Skiba's video, right, as proof that we could have some sort of shrinking and rising sun because of all the water moisture in the air. I can't even count the amount of times I've received that link from somebody that I've been explaining how impossible the fake Freemason flat earth is. So we had to take the time tonight to go through a bunch of the stuff that we've covered, and it looks like we won't have to do it anymore. I don't think Rob's going to be putting out any new content. And in my opinion, that's a good thing. It's a very good thing, because everything that he did was awful and horrible against the truth. So what say you, brother?
That was beautifully said. I can't top that. Sorry. I stand beside you, and I'll stand beside you against every single human being alive. And I will. And I'll die for the truth. I'll die for every one of the people that listen tonight. You may not even know me, but I'll die for you. Because I know I serve the one who will resurrect me in infinity amount of times. I will be brought back. I was brought here now. I was brought back from before, and I'll be brought back again. And I'll tell you one thing. Moses, when he was asked by Yahweh to do what he did, and he made Yahweh wroth, I surely won't. You can bet. You can bet. He brought me forth 3 months early. I came in here fighting to survive, and I will die fighting too. And anybody that wants to stand in against us, that wants to say that any of the contents, we've already had people on Facebook saying that we're the most, it was the disgusting, we're egotistical, and we defamed him. Anybody that wants to refute any of the evidence that we put forward and say any claim other than what we had shown you, you need to come with scriptures, and you need to come with actual physical, repeatable, reliable evidence.
Yeah, come into a live stream. Let's have the conversation about it, because
on camera.
Mm-hmm. And don't go anywhere, anybody, because we're going to end this with the Rick Hummer Illuminati confirmed.
Yeah, this is Rick Hummer, Rob Skiba. You saw that they did this collection of vomit footage that they couldn't even slow down to make their big flat earth proof video. They had to fly across the lake. It's the most ridiculous thing. Everything that Rob did was garbage. It was disinformation. He was clearly working for Team Fallen Angels. You look at the books that he wrote. Look at all the stuff that we've shown you tonight. If you still feel that the fruit of the Father is through him, and the underlings that he brought up that call each other bitches and cowards, that you don't even need Yahawashai for salvation, go right ahead and follow them off to destruction. My hands, I wash them of the blood. I am absolved of any of this. I don't want to ever even think of this again, because this is the last thing. I want to write poetry and music and love people. I don't want to have to come out here and stand up against liars and fallen angels and witchcraft. But who else is going to do it? Who is willing to do it? Everybody wants to call him Moses, this man who followed his vain imaginations instead of truly understanding the parabolic language and the mysteries to the keys to the kingdom of heaven. That's what we bring forth. That's what we do. And this is the last time I ever want to bring this up again. Like you had said, Jason, Rob's probably a good chance he's not going to be making any more videos. So we don't have to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. It's gross. All of this stuff has such a bad negative energy above it, because everything that they did was disinformation. And I'm thankful that we got through it. I feel like I wish I could have been calmer, but this stuff is one of the most irritating things, because I'm not using this time to love people. I'm not using this time to love my neighbor or to help somebody. What if somebody right now is so lonely they don't even want to live anymore? But I have to be here covering this stuff that I've been covering for 8 years. It's the last thing I want to do. But you better believe I will do it every time. And I'm thankful that I have someone like you, Jason. Each person in the chat, I love you guys. You're all Team Yahawashai members. Each person on the other side of the screen that heard our voices, you are our family, right? We are in the sheepfold together because we're here for truth and nothing else. And we will always be about truth. And we will never stumble anybody. And if we do, tell us, and we will correct our ways. If somebody can convict me of any error tonight, I will be the first man to come on camera and apologize, because that's what I am. I'm a man, and I love my father, and I will do anything that he asks me. So I hope that anyone that watched can look at this from an unbiased perspective and look at the mountain of witchcraft that we exposed. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Yeah, and
all glory to Yahweh. Nothing I do is without his breath.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for our coverage of Rob Skiba and hopefully the amount of damage that he does to flat earth and people that don't want to take the orange juice, hopefully we've somehow contained and controlled the damage that he was attempting to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to end tonight on a rollin' ready Rick Hummer video that he did. This is Rob Skiba's buddy, and we'll let you decide which team you want to be on, be it Team Yahawashi or Team Satan. Good night, everybody. You only heard this on Yahawahashai News Network.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. God's right around the corner from you. La da da da. Take a look around my friends' eyes. And she's going down. They rush over you and you're blind so far. Just up in the crowd. You walk and talk, and you also spread their lies. See what I mean? That's creatively, and we do it with this victimized. La da 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 da. It's no wonder the parallels crumbling down. Going to a road we never concerned yet. They've always been around. You walk, and talk. You can't stop to open your eyes. See what I mean? You're green, and when you go as big and ain't no plan so swinging down. The horns are blowing like a never before. The train coming, and you're just a face in the crowd. You walk, and talk, and over there, take a ride. See what I mean? Time to get it. And when we go with this, it's been a lie. To the size of a Marco, and have you seen the words which means? They power culture and feed on greed. Lie, when the demon sees. I've seen the truth and it's time to believe. They despise him and you and me. Our blood didn't come from monkeys and trees. He hung on the cross for you and me. This ain't no game of hide and seek. It's a game of responsibility. Free will. And the red leather will set you free. The king of all kings waits patiently. So what you do? What you know? It's time for you to drop to your knees and cry out from the floor.
Wait.
Well. What can we say about that? Wow.
Just wait. Oh.